Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Father's Day. Welcome to HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and we've got two amazing best of fives for you here in Week 6, day number 2. But before we jump into everything that is HeroesCCL, let's jump into what my friends have been up to in the last 24 hours or so. And Justing, how have you been? What have you been up to? Relaxing, playing games, watching movies?
Yep, mostly just relaxing, playing some video games, trying out some old games that I've played a bit in the past. I've been playing some Eternal Return the last day or two.
Okay.
Getting into some anime, MOBA shenanigans. Something I played a bit in the past.
I might have to bug you about that, because I've honestly always wanted to try it. It's just there's a bit of a there's a learning curve to that game, and maybe I can poke your brain.
There's a new kind of ARAM 4v4 mode where you just get instants. You don't have to go around picking all the stuff up. Yeah, that just came out. That's why I've been playing a bit.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna be checking that after stream today. But Grubby, I know you've been playing some Heroes of the Storm just a little bit after and before the stream, but I'm sure you've been up to some fun as well.
Yeah, I had 2 games before the stream, so you're gonna hope that you're gonna win at least one of them, and we did. So that's nice. Yesterday I wasn't so lucky, and last night NA kicked my ass, man. You guys are good on NA server. I mean, I'm Masters in Europe, only Diamond in NA, and I still lost 4 out of 5 games last night on Storm League. It just shows the level difference. Probably why 30k is doing so well.
That might be exactly it, and we can actually dive into league standings and all that in a little bit. Let's actually dive into the prize pool and take a look and see where things are with our prize pool currently. If you would like to donate towards the prize pool, you can use ! prize pool in chat to get yourself over to the match arena. 60% will be going to the players, 40% coming back to Wisdom to be able to create amazing graphics, run the broadcast, and run the league. Because of your generosity, we're at $11,534.00. Oh, we rounded out that 11 cents from yesterday. Now, I have been promising and alluding to this quite a bit, but we have finally got it all set up. If we hit $12,000 today, that's less than 500 away, we'll get Springy on stream. We will get Springy on stream. Not like, oh, Springy decided to hop up and give some analytics. No. We will be getting Springy on stream for all of you. So, thank you everyone for pushing the prize pool, but if we can hit that $12,000 mark, we've got a nice incentive for all of you at home. As I mentioned though, we did have some shuffling of the standings yesterday after some games, and I think Grubby, you are the perfect person to always break this down. Could you kind of showcase, or at least explain how things are evolving right now with our league standings here in Week 6, Day 2?
Yeah, we've got Diamond Hand playing against Oxygen today. There are 5 matches each so far in this 6th play day, so it's their time to play. And it's so important. It couldn't be more important between the two of them. Their map differential is worse than Wildheart, but they can at the very least overtake one another. One of them will be 4-2, the other will be 3-3. And if they do good enough in the map score in the final play day, they may even overtake Chili Mountain if Chili Mountain either loses, or even if Chili Mountain wins, but Oxygen or Diamond Hands get the back-to-back amazing map score. So either one of them, Oxygen and Diamond Hands, should be aiming for all 3 zeros from now on. Then, as for the second match, we're going to have Storm against Simplicity. Well, this is rank 6 against rank 8. Doesn't matter as much for Simplicity in terms of going up in this play day, but if Simplicity wins back-to-back, they could overtake either Granite or Storm or both. So I guess it does matter quite a bit. We can see those matchups now. Simplicity actually has a new roster, which we'll get more into later. Storm Esports, same old. Still the team that looks weird having just 1 map victory on the board, since they seem to be playing quite strong from time to time and just not being able to clear it in a full best of 5.
Yeah, I agree. I have higher expectations for Storm Esports, but of course we will be checking out Diamond Hands versus Oxygen Esports, and of course, Justin, I want to also give you a chance. Any thoughts on the matchups we will see today, or any sort of excitement for today's broadcast?
Just most importantly, whether Diamond Hands, if their schedule in the early season was maybe putting them a little bit higher in the standings than they belong or not, we'll find out now, because they're going to go up against Oxygen in match 1. Both of these teams are trying to get into that top 3 spot. They're trying to hit the big 4-way or 3-way tie with the 4-2 record. So super important match for both these teams. We'll see whether Diamond Hands really deserve to be as high in the standings, or if it's more of a schedule glitch, and if Oxygen is actually the team that's fighting for that 3rd place, 2nd place spot.
It's gonna be a really fun day of matches here on HeroesCCL. I've been really looking forward to these because, I mean, the big thing, Storm Esports, when you look at the history of Simplicity, you're like, Storm should take that. But as Grubby mentioned, Simplicity did make some roster changes, which we will get into later, and that might be a wrench thrown into Storm Esports' plan to take this victory. But of course, we'll be getting into our first match, which is Diamond Hands versus Oxygen Esports. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about our amazing sponsor, Next Level Gaming. What is Next Level Gaming? They're a Miami-based esports center where you can play Heroes of the Storm among 400 other pre-installed games that are updated daily. Next Level Gaming is also a Blizzard Cafe, which gives you extra benefits on your account when you play Blizzard games that you don't quite get at home. Next Level Gaming has HP Omens with Intel i7 processors and RTX 3090 graphics cards. With such an amazing PC, you gotta have a great monitor. They got two options for you, a 24-inch monitor at 240Hz and a 32-inch monitor at 144Hz. Be sure to use !NXT in chat to find out all you can about our amazing sponsor. Thank you once again to Next Level Gaming for joining us for HeroesCCL Season 4. But of course, we got to talk about another favorite of all of you at home, Ball Street. I mean, HeroesCCL Fantasy is back. We've partnered with Ball Street to bring you CCLmarkets.com. It's a free pick'em game that lets you choose HeroesCCL winners in real time as you watch the action. Simply buy shares of the team you think is going to win the matchup and sell shares of the team you think is going to lose. The best part, you can change your mind at any time because the market is always open. Buy and sell all match long to get a better score. Every night, the top traders on CCL Markets will win prizes, and you can compete all season long. Join cclmarkets.com and win prizes as you watch today's broadcast. Thank you again, Ball Street, for partnering with HeroesCCL Season 4. Now, we've talked about a lot of wonderful things here, but Justing, I think everyone at home, us three included, are ready to start talking about our first matchup of the day, and I want to start breaking down these rosters for everyone at home because I think I'm really excited about this matchup. This is a standout matchup of the day for me. And Justin, could you break down who's on Diamond Hands?
On Diamond Hands, we've got Caesar Salad playing the tank position, Heavy the support for the team, Fancy Pants is the ranged or flex, Nintori the off lane, Bang, previously known as Rutso, is the flex for the team, and Kelsier's the sixth member. This is a roster that has been mostly, the core of the roster has been together for a bit now. You have players like Caesar Salad and Nintori who've been playing together for a while, alongside some new players in Heavy, Fancy Pants, and Rutso, also known as Bang now. So we've got kind of this developmental roster of players who don't have a ton of veterancy, but are trying to shake up the scene a bit and try to make a new roster, make a new name for themselves in the Diamond Hands that we see in Season 4.
Well, speaking of veterancy, we got a veteran roster over the side of Oxygen Esports, and of course, Grubby, could you explain who we'll see on Oxygen?
Yeah, Bad Bunny has been tanking for over 5 years in competitive HoTS, and HoTS has been competing in esports for over, checking my watch, 18 years. For over 18 years, he's been competing in esports. And you wouldn't be able to tell from his Hanzo play because it's looking pristine, fast reflexes as anything. Copenhagen is relatively new. He's an amazing offlane. Nick is both an avid streamer as well as a competitive player, and he's got some special picks up his sleeve. And Yazoo, a fantastic Lucio, doesn't look much worse on any of the other healers. Lucio is what he's known for. He's really fitting this star-studded roster.
It is a great roster. Cascon was brought into this into the Oxygen roster this past weekend, so I was just taking a peek at it really quickly when that did happen. Cascon is going to be that drafter that was picked up for Oxygen Esports. A very just a big brain on the man when it comes to drafting for Heroes of the Storm. A lot of you may remember Cascon's, I believe it was his Abathur on Towers of Doom up against like Sidestep Kings. I think it was like in Season 1 or something like that. Some crazy drafting coming out from him. But let's go ahead and check out where we're going to for map number 1, as we got all that ready to go for all of you at home. And it looks like we are going to be seeing Diamond Hands choosing the map. It looks like Oxygen has opted in for first pick priority. Oxygen will be banning out Battlefield of Eternity. Diamond Hands getting rid of Towers of Doom. So we will be seeing this is going to be a Diamond Hands Garden of Terror first map pick. Really, really excited about this one. I personally, Justin, am loving Garden of Terror. That's been played a lot in HeroesCCL throughout the season. Like, we swapped out Volskaya for Garden, and it's not like we swapped it and it's not getting played. We swapped, or the players swapped it, and it's just almost seemingly every series we're seeing this map.
Yeah, it feels like the team's really embracing Garden of Terror being in the map pool. We've seen it quite a lot more than I expected, and it does feel like just a really well-balanced map. It feels like a good mix between Cursed Hollow and Eltric Pass, where the objective feels pretty strong, like Eltric, but you have to gather it in the same way as Cursed Hollow. So it just feels like a very rewarding map with a lot of opportunities for good decision-making between taking camps, trading for objectives, whether or not you need that first, second seed, or then you get the pressure on the point that's going to get the plant mamas to come out. So it's just a fun map.
Well, we're into the draft, and as well, Grubby, want to pose the same question to you. Any thoughts on this first map in the first best of 5 of the day?
Love the sheer amount of hobbies that are available on this map, with 6 different locations and up to basically a best of 5 in terms of seed collection. There are many different hobbies all around for players to need to congregate around. There's opportunities to play and counterplay. And then there's 6 camps total, 3 per side. All of them, of course, reset. And then there's 3 lanes. And the lanes are neither too far nor too close. It's really a classical HoTS. Yeah, it's a really classical HoTS map, and I can see why the players like it.
Yeah, do you remember the old Garden of Terror where it was a vehicle and it would spawn at your side of the map, you had to get into it, then walk across, and Vikings were kind of broken on this map in that sense, because you could still soak with 2 Vikings and then siege with the Garden Terror as like Eric's side or something, man.
And once you collected 100 seed pods, the 100 would start the objective, but you would have like 15 seconds to stand on a beacon to channel the objective. Or you had to channel onto the plant, and if people didn't do it, then the announcer would flame you for forgetting it, and it was just lost.
Yeah, my seeds are going to. I don't remember what she said, but I remember having kind of trauma of her saying that, just
what are you waiting
in my
for?
Nightmares. Yeah, my seeds will expire soon or something. It's like, no, you didn't want to disappoint.
There's the joy of who goes inside of it, because it's like quick match and everyone wants to drive the plant, but it's like, should we really put our only healer inside the plant? That's probably a good idea. Let's actually take a look at the modern day Garden of Terror, as we do have little slip there, but we do have Junkrat Blaze for the side of Diamond Hands, Johanna, Sergeant Hammer, and Dahaka. This is a strong start, Justin.
Yep, we no longer have the ability to say that there's a 100% win rate Sergeant Hammer after yesterday after Granite picked it. Although, to be fair, they did play it with Piranda and Asmodan, so not exactly the standard Sergeant Hammer composition that we come to expect. Still, very, very high win rate hero. Sergeant Hammer has been mostly permabanned in almost all the matches with teams that play it. This will be one of the first times we get to really see why it was banned to begin with, as Nick from Oxygen will likely be playing that. You have a good solid frontline from Oxygen, and Diamond Hands getting 2 just crazy priority picks in the Junkrat and Blaze, things that are often banned, or at least traded for the Hogger, which has been banned. So both teams getting really high priority picks.
Great picks out, honestly, from the start. We got one more band to come through. Will be a target onto the main tank, but of course, Grubby, I'm sure you've got thoughts on the draft that is unfolding.
I like the Murden ban.
Ooh.
So Murden into Sergeant Hammer gets 4 and then another 4 block charges, which makes him very survivable. He can kind of go in on Hammer and do some kind of CC and get out and then heal up with that second win trade. Super useful. There's the potential to go for Haymaker, which is kind of like a more reliable hook that does leave him a bit exposed. But it can be quite nice. I suffered at the hands of Haymaker with Sergeant Hammer myself last night. And I think it's a really strong pick into Sergeant Hammer. Now, Stitches is interesting. We still haven't seen Stitches beat Sergeant Hammer. We have seen Hammer lose, but it was Granite, one of our lower ranked teams, and they also went with Asmo and Tyrande, like you guys said. But we haven't seen Stitches be able to counter Hammer yet.
No, and I'm very interested to see how a hyper carry Sergeant Hammer works out for the side of Oxygen, as they have picked up 2 Bruisers main tank, and okay, interesting. Justin, last pick will be coming through from the side of Diamond Hands. Break it on down for everyone at home.
It's a very difficult game to be Caesar Salad on the Stitches, in particular. He's going to struggle for sure because there's very few targets for you to actually get hooks on the side of Oxygen right now. Johanna, you don't really want to pull. Dahaka, Imperius, you don't want to pull. Sergeant Hammer might be able to just unstoppable it. And so you are really left with Hammer and Malfurion as being the only potential targets. Really, Malfurion is most likely the only one you can possibly hit. And that's behind 3 heroes that you really don't want to pull into your team. So it's going to be a difficult game for Caesar Salad playing the Stitches. The Murden ban from Oxygen seemed very good, especially after seeing the way the drafts have played out. We do have Blaze into the Sergeant Hammer, and the Sergeant Hammer typically is paired with another good range DPS that is going to be able to outrange the opponents and just slowly whittle away at them. That won't be the case in this game, as it is triple melee with Sergeant Hammer, so it's a much different setup than we traditionally see with her. She does have good sustain damage, but they're not going to be able to allow her to split and still have a functional 4-man with a range like you normally see. And in team fights, they're going to have to play a lot faster with their melee heroes that are going to get poked out by Junkrat otherwise. So it's not the strongest normal Sergeant Hammer composition, so I think Diamond Hands has a good chance, but it's definitely going to be a little bit difficult to get value for Caesar Salad in particular. So we'll see how it plays out.
Alrighty, well, thank you, Justin, as always, because on the left-hand side, we have the members of Diamond Hands. We have Hebi on the Anduin, and then Tori on the Blaze, Yeah Boy on the Junkrat, Bang on the Falstad, and Caesar Salad on the Stitches. Over on the side of Oxygen Esports, Hazuabs to play the Sergeant Hammer, Bad Benny on the Joanna, Copen on the Dahaka, Yasu on the Malfurion, and Nick to play the Imperius. You know, Grubby, I was thinking about this as we were loading in. Technically, the members of Oxygen Esports have 4 tanks.
Yes, that's true.
So these are the big thoughts that I have to start off our first matchup of the day.
Thank you, thank you. Starting strong again, just like yesterday, actually.
Yeah, you gotta give the people what they want. But what I do like about Oxygen is they have, Justin has kind of talked about this concept, the solo lane sandwich in a sense, where you have a hero that can clear in a lane on their own. Like Sergeant Hammer and Dahaka, and then everything else in between can kind of float around, going in between these lanes, making some plays, as we see Nick and Yasu attempting that up here on this hammer, or saving this hammer, that it looked so very, very killable to Caesar Salad as Caesar Salad drops away. So I think we're going to see a lot of these rotations from the side of Oxygen, and the Falstad is something to consider with Bang on that Falstad, but of course, I think Oxygen can take this. What do you think about the draft and everything here, Grubby?
Yeah, I think both sides have a good draft. Stitches Junkrat is amazing together. I think Falstad, we all have a great appreciation for him and his ability to macro. Hammer is also fantastic. I'm not super convinced of Imperius. I know this is a special pick for Nick. And you always wonder, is this a special power pick? Or is this something the team has to work around with Nick's special picks being potentially even a liability? Hazuops in the interview, ever the gentleman, and not with any negativity, he said, but they do have to kind of work around with their picks around some of the heroes that some of their players are comfortable playing. You can see that big time in Nick. He's almost all only special heroes. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But this is a nice invade from Oxygen, 5-man invade. Haka burrowed in, denying the siege count. The first seed is going to be in a good spot for Oxygen. Well, just to conclude all my thoughts here, I think Oxygen can do it. I like their setup, but it'll come down to me not about Hazuops. I feel confident about his hammer. I love Bad Benny's tank. Bad Benny straight up my favorite tank in the game, in the CCL among all teams. I love how he plays it. My biggest concern is whether Nick can be effective into Falstad, Junkrat, and Blaze. There is a lot of CC from Anduin and Junkrat and Blaze. Yes, he can auto-attack Stitches, but he will have Junkrat and Falstad flailing away on him, and he is the most vulnerable frontliner. I think it'll come down to Nick.
All right, well, we'll see how the game does unfold, because we all kind of have our some deep thoughts about this one, and it is actually a really exciting draft from both sides. Want to see how the Stitches and the Junkrat will synergize with those traps, because Junkrat will be already going into a few of those traps. Nentori should get one delay over the wall. Nick is here to force Nentori away. Meanwhile, Junkrat, Sergeant Hammer still doing a little back and forth in the top lane, as the first seed does go over to the side of Oxygen Esports. More camps to be grabbed, more hobbies, as we were calling them as well. And the big thing for Garden of Terror is, well, finding out where that third seed will be, because Oxygen, they got the momentum and the maneuverability, and this was what I was wondering is, will the next seed be a neutral spot, and where will that third seed be? Because the third one could be on the Diamond Hand side of the map, which will make it a little more difficult for Oxygen to step in. But 7s are here. We do have that wave clear for the Imperius finally with that Holy Fervor.
I believe it works the same as on Cursed Hollow, that when right side column seed has spawned and then middle column seed, then the third seed must be on the left side, either top or bottom.
Okay.
So it should
I wasn't sure, yeah.
It should necessarily be on the left side for Diamond Hands, and then it's 50-50 whether it's top left or bottom left.
Okay, all right. That is the one thing I was unsure about, is if it worked like Curse Hollow with the 6 areas or the zones, if you will. Hazuab's getting chunked right here. Bang looking for the last auto, but tanking too many tower shots. Has to back away. We have Caesar Salad getting rooted by Yasu. And a little bit of poke as well. Here's that neutral seed as we talked about. Want to check really quickly. Dahaka does have his brush stock available. Falstad Flight up and available as well.
Sergeant Hammer not going with the Unstoppable at level 4. This is a very tough decision. In Storm League, it's generally recommended to go for the lifesteal. You're more independent. Storm League is very much sometimes a lonesome journey, even though you're with the 5 of you, but you gotta kind of take care of yourself, usually. For Hasu to even do that in competitive formats shows the preference that they have to basically have him do a lot of soloing, solo laning, making sure that he's all topped up, and recognizing that Junkrat Falstad have a lot of poke on him. But it is interesting to make that decision because he can now get hooked without Unstoppable. Will Bad Penny go Falling Sword to follow up on anyone that gets hooked so they can't get gorged? Or is he still going to go Blessed Shield? You know, it's Bad Penny. I still think it's going to be Shield.
I like the Blessed Shield for the initiation. The question that I have actually is, will Hazu go for the BFG or the Napalm Strike? Napalm Strike is just so good for siege, wave clear, etc. And the BFG gives you that burst ability, as it is the large rocket you just fire at someone's face. And that is kind of the way that Sergeant Hammer can have some sort of big damage in a team fight, and that is what the members of Oxygen need. But no, it is going to be that Napalm Strike. We will see the uniqueness of Wrath of Angiers for the Imperius, so we will have the Sky Suplex, as I like to call it, coming out from him, and there's that Blessed Shield, as you called it as well.
Napalm Strike, Twilight Dream. We saw an interesting game of Yasu on Tomb of the Spider Queen a couple of weeks back, where his allies with Tracer... Oh, Caesar Salad. Didn't get him over the wall because there was no terrain. But we saw Twilight Dream Yasu, and he died a lot trying to get good Twilight Dreams. But let's see how it goes now.
Great Concussion Mine. There's a Twilight onto the Anduin. The Concussion Mine actually assisting in that kill.
Yeah.
Junkrat. It looks like the members of Oxygen got a 6th player on their team in Junkrat.
You said great concussive, but we forgot for a moment which side Junkrat was actually supposed to be on. It would be cool if Junkrat could get a talent to concussive allies.
That would actually be, I would love that, but like, remember Stitches used to have Friendly Hook as a talent? What was it, 13 I think you could, it was the talent tier for that?
That Gust. That was Bang's very first Gust in CCL, since he renamed himself to Bang, that is, because that used to be called Rutso. It was obvious, he was going to kill the Ford, and then he was going to gust away Imperius, but angling him against the fort, that was awkward, and I bet he thought he's just going to fly out.
Unfortunate play, as we have another kill going through in mid lane onto Bad Benny. Was gorged away, if anyone did miss that or anything. It was there was a gorge right in front of the gate, some good body blocking, but now we look at the top lane, a gank attempt onto Yaboy. Not enough, though, as he is able to step away from Malfurion's route. Good Concussion Mine once again from Junkrat, this time actually putting Sergeant Hammer into threat, but Nick wants to grab this fort. Copen's over here as well. There's the Napalm Strike, as I mentioned, for Siege, and Blaze will get the seed on the bottom left of our screen. Good call on that, Grubby, as well, on the kind of the zones that we can expect. So at least now, I think it re-randomizes, right? So it could go anywhere.
Yeah. Where was it? Top left, bottom left?
Bottom left was the third one just now.
Okay, so it went bottom, top, bottom. Yeah, it could be anywhere next. It's gonna be top right. Okay.
Alrighty, so.
Actually, I don't know if it could repeat bottom right. Maybe it has to go to a new unique location, which means it's top right now, and then it would be middle bottom, I guess. But
Let's see if we can predict. No, it's fun. It's because it's these things that you think about even in the future. You're like, oh, like you can get an advantage. Like, oh, if we know the next seed will be in bottom, like we'll wait for a camp and put some delayed pressure through top. These are all advanced strategies. It does matter. It's not like Grubby and I are just sitting here like, ooh, let's be oracles and casters. No, there's tactics with this that we are trying to figure out as well. But Caesar Salad waiting on the side, looking for a potential hook. Gorge is available. All the heroics are available except for Napalm, but it's a very short cooldown. Hook goes out. Iron Skin will mitigate it.
Yo, we got a Stitch's Gambit talent. Did you see that? Did you call that out?
I didn't even see that till just now. I've been so focused on everything else, I didn't even notice that talent.
2 charges of Devour, and a single Devour gives him 15% max health for 10 seconds. But dying drops it 3% per death. This is probably because he's quite vulnerable against the Haka Giant Killer Hammer. Oh, that's such a good hook. And into Imperious Burn the Impure. Yeah, right into Trap. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Less shield to buy a moment. The Angelic, I was wondering if you would use the Wrath of Angiers to try and maybe create some room or something like that. But Imperious goes down, 27 seconds on his death timer. The assumption is that the members of Diamond Hands will be able to grab this seed. And it looks like, yeah, the zoning's in. That seed goes over to them. Oh, maybe one shield glare.
Is that risky for Johanna? I mean,
yes.
He's going to get jet propulsion. It felt a bit risky. They're actually trying to interrupt. Can Hammer get a napalm strike from below? He wants to get in range.
Shield glare.
The blade didn't hit.
Wow, I thought that shield glare was just in range, but I guess it was a little shy, and that will be 2-2 in seeds. Grubby, I mean, but when the next seed spawns, I think we gotta get into comms because it should be really tense between both sides contesting the next seed, as it is going to be the Garden Terror for either side, bottom center of the map.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Let's do it. Yeah, middle, bottom. Okay, so yeah, the next one would be bottom left. Then I think it does follow that pattern. Right, mid, left, seemingly. Right, mid, left, right, mid, left. Yeah. Very close to level 16. Both teams have taken down a fort. It's actually super even in almost every single way.
Yeah. Which comms do you want to hear from? Oxygen or the side of Diamond Hands?
Let's go to Oxygen.
In we go.
There could be 5 top.
They use gas.
Gusted.
That's really good.
We could look down. Yeah, I think we just fight for Obj.
I'm gonna stand here for Falsta maybe.
Junkrat spot now.
It's gonna be a Blaze.
I will ult on the time.
Oh, we're looking for.
I saw it.
Oh, Stitches.
I'm coming for Stitches.
Yeah, I'm digging deep, digging deep.
You're good. He used port, I will.
We have a cleanse.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
we go on this?
Yeah.
He's gonna pull one. He can only pull one. Stitches then.
I can't reach him.
I can ult one.
Yeah, they don't have any pulls now. Yeah, Stitches, just kill him.
Yeah. I ult.
Okay, they're going on hammer. Finish Stitches if we can. Fast one, sir.
I'm in trouble,
I have nothing now.
I have nothing, I'm really...
IQ the shot.
I need to walk around. I don't know.
Yeah, but tapped it.
Tap mid, I need the essence mid though.
Okay.
They will have Gust. No Gorge at the moment. Do we look again, or how do we play this?
I can split top. 30 seconds on my...
I'm not sure what to... Oh, we got top.
I don't have maybe try.
Oh, I'm on Falstaff.
Nice.
I'm at mid, hammer.
I think we just fight again.
Exiting the comms of Oxygen, I thought actually the Imperious was going to get killed right there, but these hooks and Gorgeous have been so well played. Yasu in a bit of a bad spot. There is going to be a Blessed Shield out from the Johanna just now. Drag from Copen not connecting again. Very... Not a very common occurrence to see Copen missing this many drags. I do want to point out one really, really cool thing that I noticed in the comms is you heard Hazuab saying, oh, they'll have Gust back up. I actually looked up the moment Hazu said they have Gust back up, it just came off a cooldown. So either he's cooldown counting perfectly or he's just got the intuition. But a seed to the side of Diamond Hands.
Nice hooks are what got Diamond Hands this objective. That hook on Imperious was great. And I love the callouts. Overall, really good communication. In fact, when they were going for Junkrat, they said, you're gonna have a pull. And then 2 seconds later, Yasu Twilight Dreams. That felt like a mistake, like he's not really listening to it and checking for that. Because they miss kills after that. And you wanna save Twilight Dream, I suppose, when they don't have pull anymore, or if you also hit Anduin. Nick
Uh-oh.
doing good damage on Stitches. He's gonna pull him away. Of course, there's no roots anymore. Stitches half-life. There's a jet propulsion. Riptire forced to be cancelled because Bad Bunny was threatening. Oh, really good hooks. Like, I mean, that's exactly where they were just half a second ago. Nick getting attacked again.
Able to back away. We have a little fight below us as well from Bad Benny. Concussion Mine. That's a drag from Cope and Gust. Will push back the Dahaka. And we have a clean disengage from Diamond Hands, who are able to get 3 forts down. Overall, really good Garden Terror phase. Quite a few camps up and available, all being Siege Giants. 2 in the top, 2 in the bottom, respectively 2 on each side as well. And, I mean, Grubby, you had said it, I feel like 2 levels ago, and I feel like I'm going to repeat it now. This game is still very even when it comes to kills and experience. Structurally, no longer the case, but really like the back and forth that we're still seeing competitively between both these teams. Doesn't feel like Oxygen or Diamond Hands is really just rushing ahead of the other one in any department. Well, I guess you could say structurally, yes.
Yeah, Diamond Hands gets the 2 forwards, it gets them passive XP and catapults, but Oxygen actually took a quarter level lead. They're just ever so slightly closer to level 20. The lanes are pushed against them, so they'll typically collect more minion XP, but the only risk really being that they have less information and that they could be picked off. For example, you look at Hammer. They don't really know where the blue members are. They've seen Falstad plays, they don't see Stitches Anduin. Why isn't Hazu afraid? Some things I won't get, because he's all by himself. Could be Stitches and Anduin there, but clearly they feel like that's okay. They've got a really good read on where Diamond Hands is. And now we can say, yeah, that Night Terror, that was pretty good, the Plant Terror.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Leap of Faith. Light Bomb. Okay, Iron Skin
Yeah.
saves the moment. Okay.
If you have a sticky wicket ready for Johanna, you can pop her. But why Light Bomb when there's no trap?
Yeah. I wonder if they were hoping, the members of Diamond Hands were just hoping that they can be able to just layer it perfectly where the Iron Skin would not be utilized, but the Bless Shield's available.
Whoa!
Oh, no! Bang,
Bang, you shot me down, but that was a really nice hook.
No!
Twilight Stream blinking. Oh, it actually killed him! Whoa.
I want to know the overkill on that one, because it can't be much. Man, that was well
checking
played
it.
from Yasu.
I'm checking it. You keep casting and I'll tell you.
All right.
13!
I knew
6 damage with 13 overkill.
Very metal, very good, and we do now have the Oxygen Esports ahead in experience. They invade the camp. Celestial Charge not connecting. Wrath of Engineers missed as well, but we do continue to see the pressure as Copen looks for a flank. Sergeant Hammer is going to be starting to pepper the enemy. That's a drag. There's a shield glare. And it seems like structure race is the important thing. As Caesar Cell is kind of isolated from his team. He was hoping that the tower shots would dissuade Nick from continuing to pressure the Stitches, but he does go down.
Spoiler, they did not.
And also, that's the first stack of Stitches Gambit from level 7 going down. His mortgage talent is not looking good.
Oh, that must be the real stickler right now. That's the one that he really cares about now, not the rest. By the way, advanced lava strike, further scouting for Stitches zoning, further siege, lesser commitment on continually auto-attacking, which can feel quite risky into Junkrat, Falstad, and Stitches. So look at that long-range napalm strike, 500 damage.
It's like it's almost like double Hammer's range is how far it goes. As I was trying to guesstimate the range on that one, but nice, it does instantly takes out the fort through mid, and with a quick within, I think it's been like a minute in game time, maybe 2 minutes, we have literally seen a swap in pressure. It is Oxygen who are putting so much pressure into Diamond Hands, and what a great Garden Terror phase for Oxygen Esports. Really, really utilizing this, getting a keep, which means consistent catapults through the bottom lane, and as well, more passive experience gain to the side of Oxygen.
There's 2 things that led to this, as I see it. One is Bad Penny is really good at maneuvering himself and his allies into a place that is likely to yield results. This seems simple, but it happens so infrequently at this level that there's a random pick-off of a rotating player. It's really Bad Penny's mind, and you can tell how little that was expected by, and this is the second thing that actually influenced why we're here, how little it was expected by Bang's random barrel roll through a bush. And that's how it all started.
Say, oh yeah, I can just barrel roll over here. There's no way the enemy. Oh, there they all are, and there
Yeah, they
I
actually
go.
are.
But can't. Oh, actually, hold on. I was wondering if they were grabbing that siege giant camp from mid lane.
Look at Bad Benny!
Yeah, he's
1v5!
Just hanging out, scouting out for his allies. So there's the sticky wicket. Now he's actually put. There's the root. That's what Diamond Hands needed to do. Isolation goes on to Bang, but Copen needs to disengage as the hook will connect. There's a burrow. The lurker strain from level 4, giving a little bit more room, but a great turn of events for Diamond Hands, and they will be able to grab this seed and a camp, maybe
Don't
even
they
a
just go
keep through
core?
bottom.
I think you try to go core. If you get one more hook into a trap, then you win the game. You'll definitely get a keep at least. The seed is for much, much later. Now, remember what Hazuop said in the interview, in the winner's interview last week? We asked him about Bad Benny's crazy, smart, deep engages.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes it turns against us. Overall, he was very complimentary about it, but sometimes it turns against us. He's way far
fair.
by himself, and that was kind of one of them, wasn't it?
That definitely was one of it. Bad Benny trying to go for the flank from Australia, but doesn't look like it worked out. And still, camps to be pressing in through top and mid in favor of Oxygen. Diamond Hands will be able to grab the seed, and this will be 1 of 3 to our blue team. Map still progressing. That's a good hook, Gorge.
Oh.
Is there a steel trap on the ground? Light bomb, yes. Steel, that was a weird angle, but it doesn't matter in the end. Sergeant Hammer still goes down.
Yeah, Caesar Salad did a little bit too much 360 spinning there, but didn't get him on the trap. Light bomb was still perfect though. Good timing by Heavy. They've practiced this combo, and it's a potent one. This is one of those moments where you tell your allies, just don't get hooked.
Yeah.
People are definitely tilted at this point. Just don't get hooked though, and it's fine, because like that's the only reason they're losing, right? You're getting hooked.
Yeah. A little PSA: if you're playing Storm League and that is happening to you, and the people you're playing with are not your friends, they're randos, don't type that into chat, because that's that is not helpful. That is not helpful for your friends. It's a good time. You laugh, tee hee hee. To randos, it's like, why are you being a jerk, man? It's just I know that the hooks are killing us. But here is another seed, top center of the map. Diamond Hands could just go for this realistically and just look to try and continually add in these seeds, get another Garden Terror phase, and end off of that. Or even one good team fight here. Actually, Grubby, one good team fight for either team right here, right now, is a win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one kill may not be. Proof being that they got Hammer and near enemy core and literally did nothing of it. Right? So I mean, it feels like one kill may not be enough to go core.
yeah.
But 2, yeah. A really good team fight, yes. Oh, nice dodge by Bang.
Bang, not gonna get hit with the slush. A good Iron Skin to eat the hook from Caesar Salad. Seed is available. Dahaka is split pushing in the bottom lane, checking to see he does have the brush stock available, as well as 50 essence, 3,439 healing stored, for anyone wondering.
It's all about hooks now. That's what Diamond Hands are waiting for. They're not that good at running into each other. Oh.
Angling for the gust from the false step, but a blessed shield comes out from the Johanna. Huge celestial charge! Double kill to the side of Oxygen Esports, and now another Wrath of Angiris is attempted. Yeah, boy, trying to run. Bad Benny's got the slows. There's going to be some good poke damage, and the spinning hammers are not enough. Nintori tries to back away, but Copen, he wants this kill, and he's gonna find it. It's a quadra kill to the members of Oxygen Esports. They're trying to make it a pentakill, and they may, but the big news, the big story, the big play right now is Bad Benny, Hazuabs in the bottom lane. They're going core. Caesar Salad will be falling here. And actually, the saddest thing here, Caesar Salad fallen, he's gonna lose another stack on his level 7 here, Grubby. It's gonna take a day and a half for this actual 1v1 to end, but there it is. It's gonna be a 5 kill to the side of Oxygen Esports, and they will be able to take this map. But to be honest, Grubby, this was anyone's game.
GG first victory to Oxygen, and really impressive. Everyone played an amazing part. I loved Yasu's aggressive Twilight Dream blink-ins. But I did say, and I still feel like that it was gonna come down to Nick. He started that fight.
Yes.
He pretended to be a lone 1v5. Turned it around against them. They answered for their transgressions. They tried to get him on the collapse down back to Earth. but Trap didn't hit him, and his teammates most of all came in with the Blessed Shield, with the blind. Then he hit him with the double skewer. It ended everything. Nick lived up to expectations. Top damage, in fact. My, that's impressive. Of course, he farmed that on Stitches just now. 10,000 damage near the gate.
Yeah, he did have
Justin,
that. Yeah, please.
What do you think about this one? What's amazing?
So this was it felt like Diamond Hands had a better team comp overall. It really felt difficult with the solo ranged hammer with the triple melee. It kind of just seemed like they were waiting around, waiting to get hooked by Caesar Salad on the Stitches. There were 2 times where Bad Benny ate the hook and was just fine, and they took a lot of cooldowns for that. And just used the Iron Skin on the Johanna to escape from Bad Benny. And then there was the pick by Bad Benny that ended up getting Oxygen back into the game when things felt a little bit doomed. Here we have a nice clean combo by Diamond Hands onto the Imperious. It really felt as though Oxygen's team comp just didn't... It should have lost. I think Oxygen does look like the better team, because if things are completely even, I don't think Oxygen should be winning this game. They won the game off of a really... This was nice where Yasu blinks over and one-shots the Falstad at the very end there. Very, very close. I think he said it was 13 overkill. So good on Yasu to understand that. And this was the Bad Benny getting caught a little bit back that we talked about, what we heard in the interview of, well, sometimes the awesome flanks aren't so awesome in scrims. And then this was the first time they were able to combo it with Trap. This is what should have probably happened every single time, and you had Copen digging in, and it actually becomes 2-for-0. I was 6 Pride at end. They had about 15 to 20 seconds on the core, and they didn't feel comfortable looking to try to chip away at the core. I think that might have been a bit of a mistake, because it gives them a good place to just play a slow front to back. This was the fight where Diamond Hands is way too far forward here. While it is a good engage by Oxygen, it's really Diamond Hands making their first mistake of the game in their positioning, where they shouldn't ever be in a position where all 5 of them are actually easy targets. They should really just always be playing at such a range that they can always just gust and disengage if they need, or have Stitches just looking for hooks, which is what happened in pretty much every fight up until this. This was the first fight where Oxygen finally won a 5v5, which should be nearly impossible. So, although it's just one game, I think Oxygen is looking like the better team if they can clean up their draft a bit. Normally you have a composition with Hammer where you can just slowly chip away at the opponents and they're playing on a timer. In this game, that was not the case, as it was just a solo ranged Hammer and then 3 melees. So you had a situation where there was really nothing pressuring Diamond Hands to force any fights. They could just slowly look for picks. And that's why we just saw a lot of really slow play, where it's just mostly Stitches fishing for hooks up until that last fight, where Oxygen finally gets the engage onto Diamond Hands and makes the play to win the game for themselves. But overall, I think Oxygen had a worse draft and still won, so they're looking like the better team to me right now.
It's crazy to me, because actually as the game was progressing, it just felt like I was gonna say, like, where is the Oxygen finale damage? Like, the phrase not enough damage or no damage, like there was damage, but it just didn't feel like at points Oxygen had enough until that last fight, where it was like, okay, the layered CC and the AoE explosions, the post 20 fight is huge for the side of Oxygen Esports. Diamond Hands had a winning draft as well. It really comes down to execution in that last moment. But let's find out where we're going to for map number 2 in this first best of 5 of the day. It's going to be the map of Tomb of the Spider Queen, chosen by Oxygen Esports, which means this will be first pick priority going over to Diamond Hands. Grubby, I do want to get your thoughts here going into Tomb of the Spider Queen from that last game. I feel like Oxygen can run something very similar with that hammer, or do you think Diamond Hands they got to get rid of that hammer immediately?
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen a lot of hammer on Tomb. She seems to like 3-lane maps with decent distance between the lanes. Otherwise, you get that thing where 5 people can rotate on top of you without any penalty in the other lanes. So I guess we'll wait and see. But I don't think hammer is as important here. I think we'll see a bit more Chromie, perhaps. Chromie, let's see.
Mephisto,
we see more
maybe?
Junkrat here. Mephisto, I'm not sure Oxygen plays it. Do they? Hazuops doesn't play it.
I'm not sure, actually. I think you're right with Hazuops. I don't think he plays it, but like it feels like one of those heroes that like Nick could just like pull out of nowhere, and it's just like, haha, I have a Mephisto as well. Either way,
we could see Maiev coming in as well. She seems quite good on this map.
Is that actually
Hanzo, perhaps?
is that a Nick special? Is that a Maiev? Has he played that in the past? Do you remember?
I don't think he has a lot.
Okay. Well, for anyone wondering, we are getting Justin reset just really, really quickly. For anyone wondering where he disappeared off to, we're just going to get things reset and hopefully get his connection a little bit more leveled out. Sorry for any sort of inconvenience that it may have caused, but
It's very inconvenient to me too, because we're suddenly hopeless. Like, he would certainly know what
he would know.
hero they would be
he'd
picking.
He'd be like, guys, shut up. You just draft Cho'Gall and win. But that's not the case. It's the one thing that I actually do like, and it's a tech that we have seen from teams from time to time, and I think Notori actually does have it in his repertoire, maybe even Copen, is Rexar on this map. Rexar with Flare at level 1 has 100% uptime in the sense of it's 20 seconds of activated time, 20 seconds of cooldown. The moment you chuck it, that cooldown starts. I've seen a lot of Rexars utilize that in the bottom turn-in to scout out the rotations. But on that same note, Lunara is another great hero for a map like this to scout out rotations. Junkrat, leaving just junk in between the top mid Fog of War area, are also all good things as well. Something click for you.
You're onto something. You're onto something, Baha. Go Rexar and Chromie and Lunara. You get
Okay.
Lunara Wisp, Rexar Flare, and Chromie's Vision. Reveal the whole map.
And then you get Cho'Gall, and you can get the eye as well.
Yes!
Oh my god.
Wow.
Man, these teams, they just need to hire us as their official drafters. That's all I gotta say. But we are gonna get into the draft. We'll get Justin back in here. But let's go ahead and jump on into Tomb of the Spider Queen. Grubby and I will continue to break things down for all of you at home. So Tomb of the Spider Queen, small map, small or major rotation between top and mid, gank into bottom lane. Rarely we see the motif for the playstyle on this map change, where I have seen in some like EU leagues where a lot of players will pick a really strong 4-man that can push through bottom, and then they'll grab like a Zool or a Dahaka to double soak between top and mid, leaving that bottom as like Omega Siege. So we haven't seen that yet in CCL this season. We have had it in, I think it was like towards the end of season 2 or end of season 3. We did start to see that tactic utilized here, but of course we have some bans onto healers, and there's the Lunara to be taken away from Hazuabs as well.
Yeah, pretty much the best Lunara we see. Not the only one. We saw a good Lunara yesterday against Uther solo heal. But pretty much one of the best Lunaras we see is Hazuabs' Lunara. Funny that she would draw such an early ban. Obviously, Hazuabs has many other threatening heroes like Junkrat, Hanzo. They're going to remove Junkrat because they were pretty sure that who used to be called Rutso, now is called Bang, could pick that up most likely.
But a great first pick on the Joanna. She's extremely good for the rotations between top and mid, as we had noted. Could go into the Regeneration Globe quest at level 1 and continually build up that self-sustainability, or we could just see the shield glare, the double shield glare. But hey, Hazuabs likes his hammer here, Grubby.
Yeah.
All right,
He's really nailing those hammer picks early on. Welcome back, Justin. What do you think so far of the draft?
Looks like Oxygen's got a winning draft so far. They've got the second hammer and they've got the blaze. I had to go fight off some sharks in the ocean that were biting at the internet cables, so that's where I was. But
Or sharks.
looks like Oxygen's comp right now looking very scary. Not sure if Chromie will be the counter that Diamond Hands hoped against the Sergeant Hammer. That hasn't been the successful counter so far yet.
So, now, Justin, because like Grubby and I were kind of just like spitballing ideas. Is Chromie just a 1-to-1 counter to Hammer? In the sense of like, you pick Hammer on one side, you pick Chromie, and you beat the Hammer? Or is there more nuance to this matchup?
It's supposed to be because it's both it's a goalie outside of team fights where it's difficult for Sergeant Hammer to split push and siege into a Chromie. And then in team fights, it's difficult for her to stay in one place for very long, as Chromie's very easy to set up her spells on her. Those are the main reasons, and also it's if you don't go the Unstoppable, you can also get Temporal Loop if you don't have something that can cleanse you of that. So it's just all around a good counter to Hammer.
Well, Grubby, we got an all-Terran draft so far from Oxygen Esports. What are your thoughts on what we could get, or even the bans we just had?
Rainer Morales, obviously. You've seen the pattern. Oh, okay. It's going to be
I tried.
Tyrael. So Tyrael is more safe against both Temporal Loop and Slowing Sands. He can throw his sword mid-temporal, and in the moment it teleports him in, he can just press Q again and he teleports to the chosen location. He can also use Smite to help people get out of Slowing Sands quicker, so that seems like a pretty solid pick. We'll see how Bad Bunny plays the other part of Sanctification. Yazoo once again on Malf. Looking forward to more aggressive blink-ins with Twilight Dream. Never thought we're gonna have Twilight Dream with Sergeant Hammer, with Malf being the finisher to Hammer's starting damage. I'm thinking like Protect the Hammer, Sanctification, and of course Tranquility, and maybe they will this time. But it is a cool pick together.
Well, Justin, you're back into it. Can you break down what we've got so far?
Tracer looks to be the expected pick. There is the Tracer. It's paired with the Mouth, so that's kind of the big giveaway that we're going to see it.
Oh.
You have Tracer and Hammer now, so you have 2 ranged with Blaze Tyrael, which is a very defensive front line. Doesn't have a lot of CC heal. It's just a lot of just utility. You have Blaze, who's going to be reducing the either spell power or attack speed of Diamond Hands. Tyrael, who's going to be shielding and speeding the allies. We might see Tyrael go into the dive build. Not sure whether we're going to see the more defensive tank build that we've seen to pair it with the Sergeant Hammer and the Mouth, or if we're going to see the dive heavy build where you get the wormhole at your level 13 talent with the Tyrael Q, the damage build that we've seen a bit paired with Tracer, where you have dive buddies and Tracer and Tyrael. I'll be curious to see which way that they choose to go for Bad Benny, as he does have both playstyles available to him, either playing slowly or playing for dive with that Tracer. Diamond Hands composition, fairly standard. I don't know if they're going to be going the Blessed Shield to just look the one-shot frontline, or if they're going to be playing to Falling Sword with the Light Bomb into the backline onto Sergeant Hammer. I think playing to just be able to one-shot frontline is probably safer, especially having that point and click, or not point and click, but the easy lockdown onto Tracer. If she gets a little bit too aggressive, should be good. And the blow up into Mouth could also be quite strong. So Diamond Hand's going to have to combo very, very well if they want to win fights, because in a normal, slow fight, Oxygen's comp should just win.
Well, thank you, Justin, for the analysis, and we'll see you after map number 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen, because on the left-hand side, we got Diamond Hands, we've got Hebi on the Anduin, Nintori on the Dahaka, Caesar Salad to play the Joanna, Bang on the Chromie, and Yaboy on the Sylvanas. Over on the side of Oxygen Esports, we are going to be seeing Hazuabs on the Sergeant Hammer, Bad Benny to play the Tyrael Copen on the Blaze, Nick on the Tracer, and Yasu on the Malfurion. I really like... It was a pretty good draft for Oxygen, and then they got Tracer, and I really think this is just such a beautiful draft for Oxygen Esports with how much support that you have from Tyrael and healing from the Malfurion and the overall... I mean, even Blaze support per se Blaze support with the Bunker is also a really, really good tool. So either way, I'm looking at an Oxygen win on this one. What are you thinking here, Grubby?
Yep, I agree with you. I think both Tyrael and Blaze offer so much extra protection for a backline that is scary in its own right. Yasu and Nick on Tracer, and then Hammer, of course, reprised by Hazuops once again. Chromie and Sylvanas is a good auto attacker. Sometimes people pick Raynor into Tracer because it's like, hey, you are very mobile. I cannot hit you with skill shots, but I can still shoot my Gauss rifle, right? And that's something Raynor can do. But the downside is then you have a Raynor. He doesn't do what Tracer does, attacking other backline or relevant targets. So, and then when you look at Sylvanas, like, yeah, she kind of plays that Raynor role, but Sylvanas needs to get 3 stacks of Banshee's Curse on someone to do max damage. That requires 3 auto attacks, usually, unless she uses her Escape with the level 7 talent to do the wave on an enemy. And that is risky. So, anytime Tracer meets Sylvanas for under 2 seconds, Sylvanas is never maxing out her damage. This is why Vala and Sylv are not that happy going up against Tracer coming in, trading, doing 40% of a ranged assassin's damage with a melee and a bomb and a few auto attacks, and then just going away again. And then repeat. Chromie has an even harder time hitting Tracer, although she may be good into Hammer. That's why I think Tracer and Hammer work well together, because we've seen them before, and it's like, we kind of don't get it, because like, why 2 ranged assassin, why not 1 mage?
Yeah.
But it's Tracer counters the things that are supposed to counter Hammer.
Yeah.
So what else do you like against Hammer? Kel'Thuzad? Because you can spam the Dark Boy consumes all the time? Well, Tracer is insanely good against Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah. It's the kind of the duality of a slow lumbering hammer per se with the ability of like the hover siege and everything, and then you have the hyperactivity of the Tracer, who's able to counteract the lumberingness or the slow of said hammer. But either way, drag from Nintori doesn't connect. Nick goes in, pulse bomb.
That's it.
Nice.
Wow.
First blood to the side of Oxygen Esports, and Chromie now in top lane. I'm actually looking at Tyrael. He's trying to dive onto her.
Heavy made a mistake there. He didn't W first. He started with the Q wind up, then W. He should have opened with the W, then Q. I think he could have saved the Haka.
I'm looking at that shield glare and seeing what it sets up here for HeroesCCL, and doesn't really seem like it's just damage being thrown out, not really forcing Oxygen back. Oxygen is kiting back, but they're playing in front of their front gate. There's a jet propulsion from Blaze connecting on to, yeah boy, who will get the Haunting Wave away. Nick in that backline still putting on pressure. Nintori coming in here as well, and that will be Tyrael back into the top lane to continue soaking as well.
You see Tyrael going for the damage build as well. Just adding a little bit extra. He knows he's not usually going to be the main target. There are other really big threats, like Tracer and Hammer, and then there is the biggest vulnerability of all in Malfurion, so picking damage rather than more armor for himself or so.
Both teams have enough for... Oh, it's 1 gem away for the side of Diamond Hands. They have enough for turning. There it is. They just pick it up. Wonder who will be able to get the first Web Weaver summoned. 29 to go on the side of Oxygen, 30 on the side of Diamond Hands, 7 apiece on levels. Still a close game between both sides. Reminds me of Garden of Terror that we just saw, with just the evenness in the play, but it is still 1 kill ahead to Oxygen. Little experience from that gained.
And that's pretty much how HazuOps and Co want this kind of game to go. They want Hammer to get like 3 auto attacks on the tower and then go back, and that's it. That's your advantage. You're not going in with the big 5-man rotation, flashy plays. Oh, you just want a couple of auto attacks every time on the towers.
Good heal from Heavy coming through. Jet propulsion from Blaze, as that will be the leap of faith to save. Yeah, boy, HeroesCCL in a bit of a rough spot, but Copen needs to get out of here. No bunker, no 10. Heals are good from Heavy. Yasuo trying to match out, but it is Heavy who does kind of out-heal this Malfurion, allowing Diamond Hands to have the advantage in the fight, forcing Oxygen to go back to wave clear. And maybe this might be the opportunity for Diamond Hands to get their turn, as a lot of CC is thrown onto Bad Benny. Does he have an Eldruin's Might? Does he have anything to get away? Anything over the wall? Nope.
And I'll tell you a fact of Tyrael games that I've seen. I think it's a fact. It could be a fact. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
It is a fact. Let's say it is.
One thing. Okay, let's just say it is. Let's just say everything we say is true. Pretty much in every Tyrael game, Tyrael dies first. That's what I've seen. Even when it's Masquerade. Even when it's Bad Bunny, it just happens often. This is a hero that has low natural survivability and it can get locked down and killed relatively easily when caught out alone. It happens often, and that's actually going to allow Diamond Hands to get the first turn in here. Let's jump into their comms early. We haven't heard from them last game yet.
Into Diamond Hands we go.
It's not play safe. I could Z up too. Tracer bot.
I'm gonna get mid pushed in.
Macro rotating.
Tracer's here.
I'm tapping moves.
Three bot. No trade for this.
Yeah, chill mid. I'm gonna help push in this.
No tracer bomb. I need help though. Sense.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
It's all good.
I missed blast. Here.
I'm gonna look bottom again.
He has no charge for a bit.
I'm with you.
It's on, he dies.
I can isolate.
Oh.
Still maybe?
He lives.
Yeah.
Oh, we're good. We got walls.
We have no ults.
Bot cam? He's split bot cam. He's putting bot. Why are you guys there? 3v2.
Okay.
We see 3 mid. We see 3
As long
mid.
as you deny the
Yeah, we see 3 mid. We see 3 mid.
It's Judge, by the way.
I mean, they're coming here. I don't know if we can fight
I
this.
hate this.
Okay,
Yeah.
I control 15.
I have to go around safe.
We can do our bruise.
It's Judge.
Okay.
Are they turning
I
bot?
have tap here.
No.
Good information being communicated from Diamond Hands. They really, really wanted that kill onto Blaze, but actually, this might be Tyrael dying once again. He may be the first death every single game. No, it's Heavy to go down. Call an ambulance, but not for you. It's going to be a judgment. Tyrael mind control from Yeah Boy, as Bang will be shot down.
Literal 5 seconds away from timeout for Chromie there with level 11, if that's what he goes for. I mean, I guess he could go for here and there. But wow, that was a really cool drag tongue there by Nintori. He figured there may be someone in the middle of that bush, and it was true. Blind tonguing. We saw a lot of that blind wolfing yesterday from 30k. Maybe we can see it again as it kind of goes to a lull and the red web weaver turn in. It starts here. Nintori, he gets the drag tongue. Everyone congregates around him, but look, Copen has a jet propulsion on the backline. Heavy stepped up. while Blaze was visible, a little bit too greedy trying to lead up on that Tyrael drag. I think there's always a chance that when you engage on someone that they end up using ultimate cooldowns. So you can try to get greedy for the kill, but sometimes it's good enough just to kind of surprise someone and they may already overcompensate to try and defend. Easier said than done, of course. That was a nice counter engage by Oxygen. They got the kill on Heavy. Now, hard push in every lane. Nice trade by Nick on Yeah Boy, aka Fancy Pants.
What are your thoughts on the Judgment pickup? 80 mana, 70-second cooldown. What do you think about this from Bad Benny?
I like it. I think we don't see it enough with Tyrael. Judgment is just... I mean, it has the stun time of just over a Stormbolt. 1.5 seconds instead of 1.25. So it's just slightly better than Stormbolt. It does 240 damage, which is also quite similar. And then there's the knockback effect, and there's the point and click part, and there's the fact that you can do it from further away. Overall, it's not an amazing ult, but it's still a way... Oh, as Blaze goes down with Bunker. Nice kill by Diamond Hands. But I still feel like it's a really reliable way to engage, and that's usually where Tyrael is weak.
Okay. Yeah, it's something we don't see very often, so I just want to make sure we do call that out, because they noticed it on the side of Diamond Hands comms. You could hear them say, it's Judgment, no Sanctification. The only difference between that and Stormbolt, it's, you know, slightly longer cooldown than Stormbolt, just a little bit longer, not much.
You can make it better at level 20. You
yeah,
could go,
that's true.
I really don't feel like it's correct in competitive to go for the upgraded Judgment.
I agree.
Engage from further away. Okay, now you're super alone.
Yeah.
And do it more often. Well, you don't play for 40-second cooldowns usually in competitive. You play for a really good burst fight.
Judgment in, Pulse Bomb onto Heavy. Heavy's the target, can't really leap of faith herself. He's going to try and give himself a huge heal with the Desperate Prayer, but it's not going to be enough. I do want to call out a nice... Oh, whoa! I didn't expect Nick to die there. I did want to point out a nice tech earlier, but this is a Blessed Shield from Caesar Salad. The fight continues. Azuop's to slow the route from Malfurion. Zones back the enemy. It was earlier, Nick, when Copen died to just the layered CC, had like 40 gems. Nick was able to blink in, grab a few, a decent amount actually, and then got the recall out of there. And it was just nice to see that someone was able to grab what Nick dropped as well. Both teams have enough for a secondary turn-in. 69 in the pockets for the side of Oxygen Esports, 68 over on the side of Diamond Hands. And we have a bottom lane camp up once again. Even though... like, some of these fights have seemed pretty good for Diamond Hands, or at least they're sustaining through them. The map slowly opening up to the side of Oxygen here, Grubby.
Yep. 1 kill more. XP virtually same. But that fort they have down, they got the second turn in, and it is stronger, and they were able to get a kill during it, and that's the big one. Oxygen just kind of looking to grind out a slow victory, but we can see how strong their teamfight combo is. Judgment on Anduin.
Yeah.
And then... going in with the Tracer as well. And that Blaze pick early, quite nice, because that's typically something that would save Anduin from such an engage. A Blaze Bunker. So they made sure that they have covered for themselves. Now Bad Benny, oh my god. 38 gems. Whoops.
He boosted.
Turboing in and getting the gems.
He's like, oh wait, hold on, I gotta go zoom through all of these and pick it up really quickly. Dahaka in the bottom area is getting harassed by the Tracer. He's still full HP. I'm actually gonna check really quickly. Did she force Essence out of him? No, he's at 60 Essence right now because he did go for the Tissue Regeneration at level 1. And Hazuops gets those 45 in. That's big. Now, no, there's no way they rotate and scout out this boss, so I think it's just turn in for the side of Oxygen Esports, and they'll be able to push back the boss through top.
Okay, bottom is super pushed out. Nintori's going to get in position to stop bottom wave. Bottom wave is 2 to 3 waves in advantage to Oxygen, so Web Weavers would go straight to the keep. He's got to deal with that. Hazuops is going to deal with the boss. Let's see what level 16 he gets. If he gets Mechanical Know-How, he could turn that on right now for 30% bonus damage for 5 seconds. Hasn't picked yet. Is he really going to go for Giant Killer?
Yes.
Yep, Giant Killer. So he wants to work through... Does anyone get armor on the side of Diamond Hands? No, he just wants to be able to chunk a bit more through Johanna and Dahaka, and importantly, to have bonus damage without necessarily procking his shield. It's safer not to ever greed for Mechanical Know-How bonus damage. Oh my god, Tyrael just gets blown up again! This is happening way too much for Oxygen.
Then Tori gets the flank in with the isolation drag onto the Sergeant Hammer, the slowing sands as well. Sergeant Hammer will be taken down. A double kill to the side of Diamond Hands. They will lose their top lane for it, but I think that's a trade that Diamond Hands is okay with. There's still a lot of time. Diamond Hands actually could just push in through top and try and equalize, but no, they want this turn. And they have 114 gems in the pockets. Nothing actually even turned in for the 55 necessary. Ooh, I love this invade. Good rotation. Oil Slick to scout out the invade.
Yeah, very nice steal there. That bruiser camp is actually so enormous because it will 100% get mid fort, and even they could even go for the towers. Hammer isn't back yet, but they decide not to. They want to make sure that they get the turn in before Hammer is back and Oxygen can contest in earnest. Really clean Nintori drag tongue in isolation on Sergeant Hammer just now. He really managed to make that so much better for Diamond Hands.
So, let's see. Blue Web Weavers will descend. They've got an extra camp on the side of Diamond Hands for the mid lane, or at least they have the Bruiser camp. Hazoobs and crew want to push out this top wave, so it's the Web Weaver descends a little further back. Seems like the investment is to save the top lane fort. It is the boss lane, which oftentimes is you feed Web Weaver plus boss into, but now it's Oxygen to rotate through mid to take care of this Web Weaver first with the camp.
I want everyone to look at Tyrael. Bad Benny's been punished a couple of times, twice in the mid to late game. He's got the teleporting sword where he can teleport in and then out again. You even saw a root being aimed at the sword. He must be feeling quite, I don't know, would he feel guilty or like a little ashamed that he died like that a couple of times and he's gonna play more safe? That's what I would imagine. Got his sword here, then a judgment on Sylvanas. That was good. He gets Blessed Shielded. Time trap!
And there's really no damage that goes into Bad Benny. All of everything that's been used so far has just been disengaged. Wow. And Oxygen...
you saw Nintori actually trying to drag tongue on Tyrael, but the time trap froze him and managed to have the drag tongue miss. So a little bit of hidden agent action there from Chromers.
Once again, I mean, it's so many Diamond Hand players want to play for Oxygen today. It's very weird, though. The Web Weaver.
We're just joking, of course.
Yeah,
but it's an unfortunate team synergy clash. So pretty decent for Diamond Hands. They got a couple of forts down, brought everything down to the second rampart, the inner city walls, and they are ahead in XP, and they could turn in again.
The first layer of the onion has been peeled back on the side of Oxygen, and Diamond Hands wants to continue peeling down the layers as another turn-in should happen here, though, Copen! Oh, no, I thought they were actually all sneaking on the side of Oxygen, and I didn't look at the bottom right, I just looked over at who was turning in, but Caesar Salad is going to be able to get the last few gems. No boss available to time out either, so let's see what happens with this, because this will be big for Diamond Hands. They'll have 20 talent tier, and these Web Weavers push up almost onto keep front gates in almost every lane.
What level 20s are we getting, Bahamut?
We have the upgrade on Isolation. We've also got the Blinded by the Light for the Joanna, the Inner Fire for the Anduin, Piercing Sands for the Chromia, but I think the biggest of all of this is going to be the Dark Lady's Call. It is a really short cooldown reduction on the mind control. So going fishing for enemies from Yeah Boy should be a very common occurrence.
There's one, and the next one can come out in 10 seconds. They'll be forced to walk towards the Siren Call of Sylvanas. This keep is a forfeit. You have Oxygen defending the middle keep. It's always nice to see teams do the right thing. In Storm Lake, people often prefer to stand and watch and helplessly and lose the thing that they can't defend, and then leave another keep to die to some kind of bruiser camp push. Don't just stand around and do nothing if you can't take the fight anyway. Love to see it from Oxygen. They save 2 keeps. Still winnable, but it hasn't been easy for them the last couple of fights. When they get a judgment on Sylvanas, they get her low, but Heavy bails them out. It's all about Heavy getting attacked here, and suddenly Angel of Justice doesn't sound and feel that bad. He's thinking about it. He could go for the 50 armor, he could go for the attack speed after casting abilities, or he could go for the Angel of Justice. If Tracer deep flanks and he goes Angel of Justice, he can hit Anduin from anywhere. Look how scared Heavy is playing, and he should be.
Yeah, the way that it works, if you can see someone on your screen, you can press R on them is the way that it works right there. And it's also that zoom is one one more zoom in, so it's a little bit, it's not as big as the screen currently for anyone wondering, but he is holding this, and
it's kind of like seeing someone on Instagram. If you can see them, you can judge them. That's what Bad Bunny's gonna do. He's feeling very judgmental about HeavyNet right now. He's looking for him.
So he's down to 30 seconds.
A private account.
Every 30 seconds, Angel of Justice. That is what that means. It's cooldown by 40 seconds, so you're down to 30. Oh man. Wow. Okay. All right. It's tense right here. You do have Sylvanas and I think Joanna in the mid lane actually taking a fight right now. Joanna does have to pop the Iron Skin. Tracer does go in with the Pulse Bomb. Drag will connect from Nentori. There's going to be the Judgment in from the Tyrael. A Light Bomb as well. We have a huge Condemn from Caesar Salad. Nick has to back away. Yasuo does pop the healing. Leap of Faith, Jet Propulsion. Not going to connect since that Leap of Faith does come through. Nick, 29 gems. Looking to get those turned in, and will have those in for the team. 11 more to go to get a Webweaver summon over to the side of Oxygen Esports. If they can get this Webweaver, this could be a nice kind of turning moment. Mind Control connects onto the Tyrael. Shield Glare from the Joanna. Don't think it connected onto Nick, who continues to apply pressure. We do have the Blinded by the Light popped by Caesar Salad for a second there as the Slowing Sands, goalie, and Gatekeep. We do have Chromie scouting out Bad Benny. He's got enough for the turn-in, and he gets those in. And the bottom lane camp, they can't make the rotation, or can they? No, Dahaka brush stocks out.
Hammer actually using Hyper Thrusters there. Again with the Lava Strike upgrade. Ultra Capacitors seen as the greedy upgrade. And Lava Strike as the safe one. Hazu playing it safe. No Judgment yet in recent seconds. It's still available. Yasuo going with Serenity means he can get his Tranquility back up quicker. And every single ult is available. Red Web Weavers top. Basically completely useless. It's pushing into 3 catapults, so top is already dead.
Oh my god, Bad Benny seemingly was standing still, it felt like to me, and he just gets hit with a raw Mind Control. Does get the explosion onto 2, that's 20% off his death timer if I'm not mistaken. Webweaver through bottom still pushing in. Webweaver through mid will go down, getting about 50% of this fort. I think Diamond Hands still come out on top of this, even though they do get pushed in, because Diamond Hands I think actually didn't lose any structures beyond, what, like 30 or so % off the mid lane fort.
It is so happy with this.
Yeah.
With that kill on Tyrael, that, by the way, is being secured in large part thanks to Sylvanas level 13 talent, minus 25 armor. With that kill on Tyrael, that Webweaver phase became nothing, and Oxygen doesn't have enough for a turn-in. That means that they don't even have any way to end the game anytime soon. It's about the boss. Diamond Hands does have turn-in. They're trying to bait a fight around the objective before Tyrael's back. It's a little risky, because Tyrael is coming back earlier than usual.
Yeah. 50% left on the boss. We have Hazoab scouting out with the Napalm Strikes consistently. They leash this boss knowing that Tyrael's coming in. Jet Propulsion puts Blaze in a bad spot. Time Stop as well. Mind Control does connect. There's the Light Bomb Bunker. No availability onto that one as it was on a 10-second cooldown just now coming back. Tyrael gets out with the re-blink, if you will. And that's a rough spot overall for Oxygen Esports. I don't really know if Diamond Hands steps out far enough. Tyrael goes in, drops the Chromie to 50%, 84% on this Pulse Bomb, and Tracer gets popped.
Dude, Fancy Pants is destroying fools right now with his Dark Lady Cole combination, as well as Cold Embrace. He's sitting at 0 deaths, 55k damage, the highest on the team, and every single time he mind controls, the whole team is ready with their magics and their auto attacks to follow up and get a kill. Very discouraging for Oxygen, but very clean by Diamond Hands. Good synergy. They showed a really good pick-off comp on Garden of Terror, and they're doing it again. It seems like this is their preferred style, and they're executing it really, really well. With this boss going straight for core, there's a 90% chance that Diamond Hands wins right here, right now.
They're adding insurance to this boss right now with with the Webweaver.
They're not protecting the boss. They will arrive in a staggered fashion, not at the same time.
Okay.
I feel like this turn-in, well, it's probably the right thing. They're here with 4 people, but it could also be the wrong thing. I don't know. We'll see.
Light Bomb from Anduin connects onto 2. Jet Propulsion from Blaze, I think, was used. There's the Mind Control from the Sylvanas as the core shielding has been scratched. We have Tyrael falling. He goes for the explosion. A trade onto Anduin for the Tyrael as the drag from Dahaka doesn't connect. Core shielding has fallen. Percent damage is coming in. Then Tori and crew are looking. Do they re-engage onto this? Have they been zoned away? Sergeant Hammer's low on mana, but still has range and autos as Yasuo is dropped to 50%. core at 55, and here comes the second wave of siege with the Webweaver mind control. There's a slow Copen trying to back away. Tracer now in here. There's the blinded by the light. We do have that level 20 from Tracer as a mid lane keep does go down, and we have 2% falling from that Webweaver through the top lane. And I think, Grubby, you might have had the right call. I think I was incorrect on that one. And I think pushing up with the boss and going straight for lethal would have been the better way to go about things.
Probably they might have been able to get that extra 53% had they shown up in full force, accompanied and protected and chaperoned the boss, and hit more on the core. They have 4 people that are still alive. All of them are, I'm sorry to say, but they're all expendable, these hero lives. As long as the core falls, the ends will justify the means. And 53%, I think maybe they could have. But there is also the aspect that you brought up, which is it is a level of insurance. Though you are maybe also ensuring that you're not getting the core. At the very least, the Webweavers did take down midkeep. But this is a problem. This is Tomb of the Spider Queen. There are only 2 ways to end the game. One is with the turn-in, and one is with the boss. The boss has been taken off the map. 17 gems in the bank means that Diamond Hands does not get to win the game in the next 5 minutes, because they won't even get enough gems unless randomly they can get a pick off on Oxygen, get a kill, and then just move in for the win. And you know, with everything we've seen, that is very likely possible. Bad Benny has looked as survivable as a Murky against the combination, the synergy that Diamond Hands is showing here and is throwing out on them. But Oxygen does have Webweaver turn-in. That may just be what they need to buy enough time for their lanes to survive and start an infinity push.
We'll see if they can collect all of the gems for their infinity push here, and 10-5 in kills, 24-23 in the levels. Most of our, actually, only 2 stacks on the Piercing Light for the Anduins, only 2% extra mana on that one, but still. Dahaka's already finished on his level 1. Joanna does not have the Subdue, but still, you get value from that. And Dahaka split pushing through bottom, getting gems. Only 29 in the pockets right now for the side of Diamond Hands, but I'm checking, and yes, Dahaka does have Brush Talk. He can come in. He's actually going to be Brush Talking into the backline right now. Sergeant Hammer gets the knockback immediately.
This could actually leave Nintori dangerously exposed. He has effective health of 6,000. There's a big blinded by the light shield by Caesar Salad. He's resetting the cooldown on that.
Ooh,
Zoning.
mind control out.
Mind control. There are minions on the bottom keep. Not a problem yet. The catapult is coming, but not a problem. Yazoo is paying. That's over half paid. Nick needs to pay, and Open needs to pay in order to make the deal complete.
Chromie did use a Sandblast already. There's Nick's turn-in. 6 gems are necessary to summon the Webweaver. Bad Benny, Hazuabs, all have those gems necessary, as well as Copen as well at the top of our screen. Catapults have arrived to the bottom lane, keep 26 minutes in, and those that catapult is going to deal significant structural damage.
1,000 per hit. The keep has 15,000 health. So, you know, you do the math. How many hits?
6? I don't know.
It's 9. Yeah, nice try though.
Oh, dang it. All right, well, my math teachers are going to be really disappointed when they watch back the broadcast. Still, though, it's just the members of Oxygen trying to hold on to the thread that is this Tomb game. I feel like if Diamond Hands could find one good engagement, one good mind control, they might be able to rush through and take the other 53% plus shielding off the Oxygen core and go 1-1, but yeah.
Dang. He's got it.
Gets it.
Okay, now reality check. Top is pushed in, bottom is pushed in. This Webweaver does almost nothing except buy time. You need to immediately clear Siege Camp. You need to immediately clear top if you want to have push in every lane. Generally, that's not possible. Tyrael getting attacked here, but he doesn't get blown up for once. Nice relief for him.
Okay. So, top lane already down to 75%. Bottom lane, it's actually it's in the middle of the map. There's a jet propulsion from Copen connecting. Mind Control will pull this Blaze in. Light Bomb, but it will not connect onto Blaze as he does get the bunker out. There's a huge jump in from Tyrael. Pulse Bomb not connecting. Mid lane fort finally falling 27 minutes in.
Yeah.
But looking in Tori, he's looking for a drag. He doesn't land onto Copen. Does have the extended range with the elongated tongue from 16, and Hazuabs has to just play a little safe here. Doesn't want to get too chunked by the Chromie.
Oh!
There's a mind control.
You warned him! We wouldn't listen!
Oh, the blessed hammers are still doing damage from Caesar Salad, but
yeah.
that's the end of the Webweaver phase. And Oxygen, they show that they're going to this boss, but is it a great bait?
Look how little the Webweaver did. Bottom tower, mid fort that had 20% life, nothing top. That's the gems. They're both down to 40, 50. They need 70. So I guess like 7 waves will give them enough gems, but it's really about boss. It's about Bruiser camp, and the one difference every time is that Nintori is taking the Siege camp. Nintori is taking the Bruiser camp. Bless shield miss.
Wait, Judgment into the flank from the Tyrael. He's trying to make something happen onto Heavy. Mind control, and Nicopen's like, I just want to keep going that way. I don't care. But Diamond Hands are able to back away. All right, Oxygen, they're going for the pit. They're going for the boss.
Yeah, with Bruiser camp taken, there's a 1-minute timer on Oxygen to start losing, well, let's say 2-minute timer for them to start losing their keep.
Okay.
Let's shield
Mind
30
control
seconds,
again, yeah.
and Oxygen knows it.
There's a Chastise, but I don't think Copen actually got hit by that one. Pulse Bomb onto 1. Yeah, boy, getting slowed. The Tyrael comes in for the Judgment onto Heavy once again. A split fight with Notori on the right-hand side. Heavy with the Light Bomb. Mind control goes out, doesn't connect. And Diamond Hands get really, really chunked there, but no one falling once again. And it's Oxygen who kind of retreat to this boss area. But as Grubby had mentioned, at some time, this mid camp has to be dealt with. Tracer will show that might be the green light for Diamond Hands to try and make an engagement happen. Also to note, only 8 gems need to be picked up from the side of Diamond Hands to be able to get another Webweaver turn-in.
You did the monster math. Impressive. I had given up hope on you after the previous one. They're turning in what they can. 9 gems. No, 5 gems. 4 gems needed. That's it for Diamond Hands. They're getting so close to finishing this out. You know, if Oxygen were to win this one, it would feel like such a steal. With how Diamond Hands has been playing and been controlling the map.
Okay, so bottom lane has a catapult, mid lane's pushed out, top lane's pushed out. There is the turn-in availability to Diamond Hands. They need to turn in those last chunk of gems.
He was thinking about going for Bruiser, or he was checking it.
Okay. Is he actually going? No, he's not going. Wait, Blaze dies. Sorry, there must have been.
I didn't see that.
Must have been it was a mind control setup right there. As there's maybe a counter kill onto Heavy, and yes, there's a trade. But over on the right hand side, Nintori's putting pressure onto Hazuabs. Hazuabs able to boost away.
Where's Melf going? He turns on Tranquility and engages. Does he think he have Twilight Dream engaged? That was ridiculous.
Kind of feels like that, honestly.
That was ridiculous. Every teammate needed heal. He turns on Tranquility and walks into 4 people. Yasu going wrong way. That's a yellow card.
Oh no, not a yellow card from Grubby. That's the worst thing you could possibly get on Father's Day of all days. But
a red card is the worst.
Oh, sorry, I'm showing my American. My bad.
Wait, is yellow the worst you can get?
I haven't watched soccer, football in a very long time.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking in NFL, maybe yellow card is the worst and like green card is the best. I don't know.
Do they even have yellow and red cards in the NFL? I don't know, but there's a stasis to mitigate the jump in from Bad Benny with the Judgment. Bang able to mitigate that one.
Nice vision and damage from Hazu from that far away. Really, things would have been amazing for Oxygen if Malf was still alive. And it felt so unnecessary. Oh, wait, Nick, is he gonna get banged? There's no timeout! Bang!
Yeah, there's no time. Bang, bang,
he
bang.
shut her down.
Nice knockback from Hazuaz. Bad Benny's very low. He just got Judgment off of cooldown. Does he try and go for something here? Oxygen, they want something. You can see that they're kind of chasing in, but Caesar Salad zones back Bad Benny. Malfurion's back. He's got some healing. Caesar Salad might have the channel. There's a mind control. Oh no!
Benny?
The Tyrael goes down.
Why does he walk in with 1% life when Malf just came back?
And Malf wasn't around to get healing, but the fight continues. It is Chromie down, Tyrael down as well. Catapults are arriving to core. Hazuabs, he's Hearth and back to go clear that out.
Yeah, there's catapults on core. These are not messing around. They're doing 14,000 damage per hit. The core has 22, so you do the math. 15 hits? 15 hits from a catapult, and the core is dead.
14,000?
What?
Oh, hold on. Malfurion
1500.
dead.
Oh.
Copen is gonna try and make something happen here. This seems like the swan song for the side of Oxygen Esports, unless Hazuabs can make something crazy happen here. Heavy is so very low. The recall from Tracer. What?
Yeah, Hazuops and Nick getting the kill together just when it seemed like all hope was lost. With Yasuo going down once again, the nice kill by Diamond Hands, but they were unable to save Anduin. They piled on the damage on Tracer, but they were unable to get her because of Copen's bunker. The defense on core continues. Catapults are going ham on the core.
This has to be...
Nice drag time by Nintori.
Hazu tries to get away. Jet Propulsion in from Blaze pops the Pyromania. Bunker available in 30. I would have to check, but I think this is officially the longest CCL match in history.
I don't know. It does feel long.
We're 34 minutes in mind control.
What are you doing?
He wants to stop the turn-in so bad, but he's dying for it. Nick, you can't be that deep.
He didn't smite himself. He smote for damage, like you said, the interrupt. Yeah, that must be what he was doing. I mean, you could still throw the sword back and just judgment in to get the interrupt. That way your opponents are stunned, knocked back.
Yeah.
And then you can just Q back to your sword. And it's like you're wasting a 30-second cooldown seems better than a 50-second death.
I need a nap after this one. This is this is a crazy match.
I need a hug after this one, and I think so do some of the players.
Jump on a plane. I'll jump on a plane, and I'll see you after the broadcast. But there's another turn in from Caesar Salad. Mind Control goes out. Blaze steps in. Copen drops the bunker, but the Web Weavers will be descending to the side of Diamond Hands. A very low Chromie on the right side of this engagement. Yasu on the left trying to back away. Gets some Moonsfire. Gets his heroic out as well. Tracer blinking around here. As there's a Jet Propulsion connecting onto Nintori in the backline, who does pop his essence. Now it's an isolation. Tracer goes down. Oh no, this I think might have been the final nail that was necessary for Diamond Hands to take this map number 2. I really gotta say, Diamond Hands earned this victory.
Yeah.
And Oxygen, Oxygen did a great job of defending for so long, but Diamond Hands earned this victory with just posturing, play, and everything in between. After 35 minutes, it is going to be the members of Diamond Hands taking our second map in this first best of 5 of the day. And it's not going to be a 3-0. We talked a lot about these teams needing 3-0s today. No 3-0 to start out with this series. Well played. Whew. I mean, the core fell so fast, Grubby. That core. Yeah, that core.
An applause for everyone themselves. Everyone that watched, an applause, because we just all survived a marathon of emotions. And although mistakes were made on both sides, so many good plays were made on both sides, and the deserving winner did end up winning this game. The Oxygen tried to focus Anduin, and they got a good number of kills on Anduin, but it is Diamond Hands that executed their kill combination over and over to greater effectiveness, and they got the win. Now, what did you think of that Tomb of the Spider Queen game, Justin?
Very clean game from both teams. That was one of the... Was that not the longest game we've had? That was...
I think that is.
That might be a bit of a reason why a lot of players have not been favoring Tomb of the Spider Queen quite as much as they used to. That's also why something I talked about a lot on this map is the gem economy, which we kind of saw coming into play there, where the map objective, it scales drastically as the game progresses, but unlike most of the maps, you don't just get the objective for free. You have to spend your gems to get it, so there's a cost. And if you use all your gems too early, you kind of run out of win conditions. And we saw that there, where neither team really had the gems to turn in for a long period of time, and then once one team did have the gems to turn in on the side of Diamond Hands, you have just infinite stalls, top and bottom, over and over and over again by Oxygen. While they did a good job of managing their lanes to clear it, so that they could continue to stall. You saw the desperation at the end there, where you had Yasu on the Malfurion and Bad Benny on the Tyrael, basically just throwing themselves into the backline trying to stall and paying for it with their lives. It wasn't quite enough, as we had that infinite stalling back and forth at the end. Diamond Hands finally being able to come out ahead off of the back of just better early gameplay. Something to note in the team comps is Diamond Hands' composition has quite a lot of CC, and we saw Bad Benny on the Tyrael in particular being punished for that, or against that. You have the Haka with CC, Johanna, CC, Sylvanas even had the Mind Control, Hebi had the Light Bomb as well, so you just have a ton of CC onto the front line, so Bad Benny unable to really play his dive heavy focused Tyrael that we saw with the damage build. He even went with the Judgment, which was maybe even a little bit overkill, but they were really desperate, as we saw, to try to get onto Heavy specifically and take him down. He was pretty much the only target for Diamond Hands. Nintori had a lot of really good tongues this game on Dahaka. I think he was one of the more standout players for Diamond Hands in their victory here. He had really good CC on even getting onto Hasuabs on the Sergeant Hammer in the backline, which is very difficult to do on Dahaka. But just crazy, really split up fights. I think Oxygen maybe going to take a... Here again, we had Yasu just way too far forward trying to get some kind of stalls. But it's very difficult when they're kind of just chasing Johanna on Caesar Salad on Johanna around at the end here, trying to stop him because he's the one who has the gems to turn in. So it could have gone on basically forever. You had Oxygen desperate to get any kind of kills and get some stalls, where Diamond Hands has a much easier job here. They have the waves pushing in that need to be dealt with, and it's just kind of a matter of time, unless they made a terrible mistake. Oxygen not able to force that mistake, and Diamond Hands do manage to take it with all their chain CC and all their early game paying off in the late game there.
Really, really long game number 2, but a really great series overall. It's been really fun so far in the first best of 5 of the day here on HeroesCCL. And of course, we're not done by any means. We are going to take a short little break. In this break, I encourage you to hit ! prize pool and get yourself over to the Matcherino, and we are $60 away from 12K, are also known as getting Springy on stream. So we're going to go ahead and take that short little break. Hit ! prize pool in chat. Get yourself over to the Matcherino. And when we come back, map number 3 between Diamond Hands and Oxygen Esports. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and vicious Valera mains to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby, and you may be noticing a missing Justing. He did get eaten by Springy now. He's got some connectivity issues, so we're getting some of that sorted in the background right now with our tech crew and admins. So thank you all so much for understanding. Some of these issues are just out of our control, and we're doing our best to just kind of troubleshoot every little thing in the background with him to get him back on the broadcast. Because I know you all love him so very much. Probably Springy more, but I know you love him just as much as Springy. But of course, Grubby, you and I, we will continue the show together. We will do our best to be 3 casters in total. Like, we'll just be like 1.5 caster each. And right now we're getting prepared for map number 3 between Diamond Hands and Oxygen Esports. It's been a really fun series so far. So let's go ahead and find where we're going to for map number 3. And we can continue our conversation between Diamond Hands and Oxygen Esports. Also talking about that Tomb game that we just had, because Diamond Hands will be taking us to Cursed Hollow, meaning Oxygen Esports, the loser of Tomb, opting for first pick priority. Cursed Hollow, a large map, a lot more macro. I mean, we're going from, not even arguably, we're going from the smallest map in the CCL pool to the, I believe, the largest map in the CCL pool. This has got to be an interesting tactic coming out from Diamond Hands, Grubby.
Yeah, it is from Diamond Hands. Oxygen picked it, right?
The map?
Yeah.
No. Diamond Hands chose the map. Oxygen won first pick priority.
Oh, yeah. Diamond Hands picked it. And for me, the big question is, considering that Oxygen just lost Tomb of the Spider Queen in a very grueling and endurance shredding game, despite having what they wanted generally, Malf, Tracer, Hammer, Synergy. Yeah, they're gonna view this from a point of, what was the number one reason that we lost that game? What made it so hard for us to engage in fights, besides maybe individual mistakes in the positioning of certain heroes? And is it Sylvanas? I would say it was probably Sylvanas. The mind control felt like a better hook. It came out as often as hook comes out once you reach level 20. And then coupled up with the armor debuff that it provided and the synergy. On Cursed Hollow, I think Sylvanas is also quite good.
Oh, yeah.
Chromie, Sylvanas are both quite good. Would Sylvanas be something that they would ban away this time? That's what I'm wondering about. And are they going to go for something like Hammer and Vikings on Cursed Hollow? Looking at Oxygen here.
Yeah. I'm wondering the same thing too. I'm actually looking at the last draft. I have it saved so I can kind of take a look and see what some of the bans were and stuff like that. I wonder if the Tyrael was like a Muradin instead. Would that have been the CC necessary? Because we had talked about like the Stormbolt value compared to like Judgment and stuff. And yes, the big reason for Tyrael was to judgment the Anduin in the backline, but I feel like if they went with the Muradin on the side of Oxygen instead of the Tyrael, they could have Stormbolted, follow up with a Blaze Jet Propulsion, as that was kind of the follow-up to the judgment, and then maybe a root for Malfurion while someone's standing still, Tracer shredding, Sergeant Hammer as well. I feel like the Tyrael was a bit of a blunder here, in my opinion. And it had 7 deaths. I have to be critical of that as well. Yes,
Yeah.
Tyrael, he can explode 10% off of your death timer per enemy hero hit, but that doesn't equalize. I really think that a different tank, maybe a Muradin, Diablo was banned out,
Well,
maybe a Garrosh. Yeah, please.
Maybe even something as simple as just taking the armor, 25 armor at level 4 every
True.
time you teleport, and you have the double teleport, instead of going with that lifesteal from Smite and more Smite damage from level 7. Maybe that wasn't as needed, and he could instead take the armor and the bonus movement speed at level 7. That could be a possibility as well. Either way, I don't think we'll see Tyrael coming out again. This is a meta, as we've heard a number of times from Justin and seen in general from teams, where tanks get blown up. That is the easiest attack target. The tools are there to deal with it. Part of the reason why tanky tanks are so good, like Johanna, Muradin, and Diablo. And Tyrael just kind of gets blown to smithereens, and Diamond Hands did that really well. Love Johanna coming out here for Oxygen. We'll see if it's going to be either a Hammer or a Sylvanas or a Falstad focus play from Oxygen. They could even go Lunara. They've got plenty of good damage dealers on that team. I'm more worried about Tyrael, and now we don't have to worry about that anymore. And I'm worried about Yazoo. His mouth seems really hit and miss. The Twilight Dreaming was cool, but he played Tranquility the same as Twilight Dream, blinking in the middle, kind of, and sometimes he felt a bit out of place.
I would agree with you. The positioning felt a little wrong at times from Yasu, and even then it kind of seemed like some of the Oxygen members were just kind of standing still at points and just getting hit with CC. But we will be getting a Hanzo and a Dahaka from Oxygen, so they will have the global play. This is the one map where Tyrael's arguably, like, he's got some good value because you can use the Holy Ground to steal away bosses since there's the double boss. And I think that's also why we might see Hazuabs going into the Hanzo now. In interviews in the past on maps like Alterac or even Curse Hollow, Hazuabs has said Hanzo with the W build is such a great tool to get camps and also burn through bosses, as we will still have a Sergeant Hammer ban. Members of Diamond Hands a little worried about that at this time.
Yeah, because they know there's 2 Sergeant Hammer players on the side of Oxygen. It's both Hazuops and Nick. So while Hazuops locked in Hammer above the fold, above the 3rd band twice, this could still be a swap to him going to Hammer later, and then that Nick plays Hanzo, or that Nick is going to play the Hammer himself, still removing still removing that Hammer. So now the question is going to be, what does Diamond Hands pick here? Falstad could be something they want to go with for Bang. They could go Sylvanas for Fancy Pants, and then they could switch Bang onto Junkrat as well.
I think at this point, this is what I've learned from Justin. I think they keep their last spot, Diamond Hands. They keep this last pick as a flex, and they grab, I like this, the healer and the main tank. That way, when Oxygen picks their next 2 heroes in the draft, this is some draft theory that we've done over on the HeroesCCL YouTube with Justin and I, but this is something draft theory-wise that I've learned from Justin, and I'm seeing it unfold here, is Diamond Hands has the flexibility. They've got good damage with Junkrat and Poke. They've got Blaze as a solid offlane, Rhaegar solid healer, Muradin as well, and now Diamond Hands can be the one to flex into the Malfurion and Tracer. Double ranged auto attack dealer, double Overwatch actually ranged attack dealers from the side of Oxygen, but Grubby, last pick from the side of Diamond Hands coming through.
Against Tracer, you want to have something that can rebuff her fine. Chromie felt fine, honestly, last game. It could be Sylvanas once again. Mind Control can be a really powerful tool here. Falstad. Ooh. That actually makes a lot of sense. Cassia is super safe into a Tracer.
She has, blinding talents that she can pick up. You've got, the avoidance, the armor, everything. Ball Lightning is a really good tool. We also could see some fishing from Cassia, as it could be the Valkyrie. We haven't seen much this season of the Valkyrie play from Cassia players, but I do like this. Cassia's poke, survivability into all of the auto attacks from the side of Oxygen. This is a really good draft from Diamond Hands here, Grubby. I actually think Diamond Hands could take this draft. It's going to be a hard one. Nick is very good on the Tracer from the last game, and Hazuabs is going to be able to be very maneuverable. But what do you think here as we're about to load into the map?
I think if Justin was with us here now, he would say that Diamond Hands has the full versatile draft, really a composition that can run well, that they have something that can deal with everything. And I also think you're right, Bahamut, as we go into the game, that it's going to be tough running Ball Lightning from Cassia, because there are two people that can make it disjointed. The Haka's Burrow can remove the Ball Lightning, so it doesn't get all the bounces it is slated to get, and Recall from Tracer does the same thing. Falling Sword could do the same thing, so maybe it is going to be that Valkyrie. So we've got the setup of the draft. Both Baha and I are pretty positive about Diamond Hands being rock solid. For Oxygen, a little bit less sure. Tracer looked good, but Yasu looked vulnerable sometimes on Malfurion.
And this is going to be another Malfurion game for Yasu. So we've got Diamond Hands in the blue, Oxygen in the red, and we are into map number 3. I'm excited about this one, Grubby. I really do think Diamond Hands, they've kind of shifted into the leader spot with this draft. And after that last map, I mean, we talk about mentals on the stream from time to time. It's got to be taxing and a big negative hit to your mentals as a team for Oxygen, losing a 35-ish minute map on Tomb that
more,
you see. I think more, but like it's such that's a hard loss, and then you go into another game. So curious to see how Oxygen rebounds here, whether it be some funny in-game comms or just they serious up. But Diamond Hands, that's a big win for them. And on the opposing side of the mentals, they've got to be riding that high. Like, we just took down Oxygen. We're not going to be 0-2 in this map, and it's not, like, back against the wall. So, overall, it's a good setup for Diamond Hands, a good draft for them as well. It's really going to come down to, of course, as always, the execution.
Pew, pew, pew. As Nick tried to go in with a bomb. Gets good trades anyway on Fancy Pants there. We have Cassia going for the Siege Camp. You'll typically take the upper half camps first if the tribute is top, and then you save for the blue side. They will save Bruiser for during the objective, and the red or orange side they will save the siege camp for during the objective. So that should be taken at about 2 minutes and 40 seconds to provide a dilemma for the opponent's attention.
This is one of the macro plays we see very often on Cursed Hollow. Our tried and true map, our MOBA map, if you will, as anyone who plays Heroes of the Storm for the first time has to play this map it's 10 times or something like that. When you go into Quick Match, I think it is, they only make you play Curse Hollow to learn mechanics of at least one map. But as you had mentioned,
you won't learn it in Quick Match.
No, you won't. No, you won't. No.
You'll learn how it works, but you'll also learn that your teammates will run in and die 2v5 for a tribute that does not yet matter.
And then there's going to be a murky, split pushing on, a brand new Smurf account. I don't think this guy's a brand new player. I think they're he's proxying waves, and he's just octo-grab single killing your Malfurion. Yeah, I've lived that experience from time to time. But we are looking at our first seed.
You were the murky, right?
I would never Smurf in my entire life. Never.
Oh,
I'm not even good enough on my main account.
You're not smurfing if you're starting at the level you're at.
Exactly. It's no different. It's I'll start a Smurf and I'll be Grandmaster. No, it's not.
He's not principally above it.
Exactly.
No ethics involved.
But our first seed, or excuse me, not seed, our cursed tribute, our first tribute will be here and available. You know what's crazy to me though? Look at Cassie's level 1, please. That is absolutely wild to me in CCL 3 minutes in.
Yeah, send a stroke.
Yeah.
He's not been doing much stroking. Let's put it that way.
No, he hasn't. No, at 0 stacks, not at all. But Murden will go into his Sledgehammer at level 4, getting some clear onto camps and also extra siege value from that. And Yasu might just have the channel onto this. Seems like Oxygen has zoned back enough members of Diamond Hands to grab this one.
Nick arrives just in time to catch the entire wave in bot. Perfectly played by Oxygen. No problemo.
Steel trap build for the Junkrat. Looking through just a lot of these. It's pretty average build across the board. I'm not seeing anything of major note. I guess, I was going to say, maybe you can mention the Purification, but it's become more and more popular as the weeks have gone on. Simplicity was one of those teams that played it a lot. was it Apto who was playing the Rhaegar for Simplicity? Either way, the Simplicity healer, Wishing was their healer.
Wishing, yeah.
He was the one who I've been seeing play this the most, so interesting to see Heavy now picking it up. I do like how much utility the Purge Extra has now. Or extra utility.
Yeah, for sure. And, I was thinking about picking this, but someone in my Storm League was like, you better just go Totem. They were listening to my stream and they were like, just pick Totem, please, because we need to sustain. And that's what you give up. But when you're already going for the Wolf talent at level 1 anyway, this one is pretty solid. You're getting armor, you're getting move speed. It helps quite a bit on Cursed Hollow because it is a large map. And Totem at 7 isn't as good. Nice stacking by HoTS for the scatter. He's also in the position to do interrupts on the tribute. All the while, we have open still the Hawkeyeing top lane.
And that will be Siege Giants in top lane. 10 talents here around the corner. Bad Benny with 1 shield glare. I'm checking to see if he has another one. Pops the Iron Skin. Does have another shield glare if he wants to try and get the interrupt onto Rhaegar. And does manage to stall Heavy.
Yasuo.
Now, Yasuo, I don't know what you're doing over there on the left-hand side.
What is he doing? We knew. Bad Benny knew that he has a second blind. There was no need for Yasuo to step up and Moonfire as well.
No. Interesting aggressive play from Yasuo in the last 2 games. I will be honest, it is interesting. Perplexing is probably the better word, to be honest.
Yeah, or you know what would be a really direct word?
Please.
Wrong.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the niceness, Grubby. You always I'll try and surface level. It's blunt, and I love it absolutely.
I hate it, but I guess it is what it is. I am who I am, and I gotta say it as I see it. In this case,
Cassia holding 10. Maybe we see the Valkyrie. Ooh. Pretzels, yeah, I was about to say, if anyone's hungry, we got some pretzels from Hazuabs as Nintori is going to go in and out of the bunker, tries to avoid the root, but there's a drag. There's...
No! That was a little bit too salty. Pretzels for Blaze there, even for him.
Well, Boss and Bottom gets the fort for sure. Junkrat's in position, so is Murden. They actually get the vision in the bottom area. That does also kind of make it difficult for Oxygen to step in. Checking to see really quickly, Dahaka does have Brush Talk if he wants to join into this engagement, but he is going to try and guarantee that fort in top. I just heard Cassia's level 10, we can see it as well, but she does pop Ball Lightning onto somebody, and we talked about disengage tools. Dahaka can burrow, Tracer, Recall, but Hanzo also, he can use the agility over the wall to close the increase the distance, and that just ends it. Self-Ancestral, Isolation, there's a Pulse Bomb, Heavy, very low, Tribute to the point to the side of Oxygen, and a kill. Oxygen, I talked about their mentals maybe being low, but these couple kills, that might be starting to turn around the feeling for Oxygen here.
Yeah, this is nicely done by Oxygen. With the boss that they had and the defense, they did lose bottom wall. So, and technically, they lost more to the boss. And Bruiser's been pushing in something fierce in mid. And Diamond Hands is ahead in XP. The only thing Oxygen has is more tribute points. But it really depends on if they somehow manage to get the curse, how deep are the lanes pushed. Cursed Hollow has one of the weakest objectives. The main objective is the boss. And the size of the map allows for a lot of vanilla pushing and global pushing. But the objective itself is usually not that strong. I think it's like a 3 out of 10 when you look at all the different battlegrounds. Sometimes you see teams deliberately giving up curse just to get rid of those 3 tribute points that the opponent has, or 2 I guess you could say, just because they feel like the map isn't in that bad of a situation.
Yeah. I think that's actually a very good point to make, Grubby, is some of these moments, like let's say the entire map is pushed into Diamond Hands, Oxygen would take advantage of that and say, let's give Diamond Hands the objective, and then we can just de-push everything since it's just going to rotate or fall slowly into our net, if you will, in front of each of these forts. And
yeah.
So, either way, blue team is cursed right now. We do have the tribute over the side of Oxygen Esports. What do they get with this? Because top lane isn't being pushed in because of the Siege Giants. Bottom lane is being pushed in because of Oxygen's Siege Giants. So one fort is seemingly guaranteed. A Ball Lightning from the Cassia will be coming through. She gets some blinds. Bad Benny returning the blinds as well into Cassia. And Yasuo trying to heal through this.
Trouble.
This is bad. You do not want to be losing members. Oh.
That was Bad Benny.
That was Bad Benny.
They pushed in 3v 3v4, Iron Skin was burned, and that was it. And, you know, no peel for him. So nice defense by Diamond Hands in the center. The wall entirely intact. Top, not pushed in at all. Bottom only got a fort. If this is where the monarchy is headed, count me out. No, if this is where the curse is getting them, that's not very good. No. 1 fort for the curse.
This map is looking very reminiscent of Tomb of the Spider Queen. Mid lane fort still up, keeps all safe. Meanwhile, of course, yeah, Oxygen, they still have all their structures up, but we are one out of 3 tributes to the side of Diamond Hands, and we'll see where the next tribute spawns fairly soon. I think Nick is just floating around the top lane. They might want to try and get a kill onto Junkrat, but he's taking the safe rotation, and there's really no threat onto Junkrat. 2-2 in kills, but funny enough, it's a solid level lead, or half a level lead to the side of Diamond Hands.
And where did the XP come from? As we are looking at it, 3k XP difference. 2k is from minions. So Diamond Hands got 2k more XP from minions. And this is because Oxygen didn't soak every lane during the tribute. And because it generally just pushes all the minions towards Diamond Hands. That's why a curse that doesn't get a boss and a curse that doesn't get enough structural damage ends up being a blessing in disguise for the defending team, because they get all the minion XP. 2k from minions extra for Diamond Hands, and 1k extra of Mercenary, and 750 extra from passive XP on structure advantage. So Diamond Hands, they're looking to maybe get Johanna. That's a 5-man net closing in on Bad Benny.
Good.
He feels it.
Good dwarf toss, but the Iron Skin will be popped. The slows are not going to be available, and the 16 talent tier has been hit by the side of Oxygen Esports as well. Equal footing, and I was going to note the boss timers here as this was a little bit ago, but it was 40 and 20, 40 for top, 20 for bottom. So this Diamond Hands boss coming back first, but the zoning of the Chattering Teeth, Bad Benny wants to go in. He pops the Blessed Shield, but he's just a second too late. If he had used the Blessed Shield after stepping onto the point, it would have actually made it there, but now we have the bunker down from Blaze. The tribute point spawning on the right-hand side. Caesar Salad lands a huge Stormbolt. The Pulse Bomb goes on the ground. We have an isolation, I think, onto somebody. I can't see everything quite right as Cassia does go down. Scatters are perfect from Hazuabs in this little corridor. It is a kill for a boss, and I still feel like Diamond Hands should get some value out of that boss onto the keep. Looks like the keep front gate is already down as well from the earlier boss.
And Nick is going to try to kill that boss. It will still do at least half a keep worth of damage. They're actually just letting Nick defend it. They could definitely hurt that boss a lot faster, but they want to make a play here for the tribute. During all that, Copen did push in a wave with a catapult. It killed 1 tower on the top.
Nice. Steel Trap, eaten by Bad Benny. Boss in bottom lane gets 40. No, I'm just kidding. It's about 50% like you were saying. So really, really good call from Grubby on that, as Oxygen, they still need to, like, the map is still okay for Oxygen, but it just feels like the fights are starting to fall apart a little bit.
Yeah, Oxygen synergy hadn't been too fantastic. I mean, just look at the Dragon Strike from Hazu. He generally always plays Dragon Arrow. Dragon Strike wasn't aimed at the core, or at the boss point. So his goal was to get kills, not to contest the boss.
Yeah.
And then Bad Benny was late to step on the point, and he was going for the point rather than trying to, like, get people in the Dragon Strike. Just not the cleanest synergy. Feels like there's a little bit of trouble with the synergy right now for Oxygen, despite them being ahead 1 kill. And it's okay for them. They still have 5 forts. In fact, purely structurally, they are still ahead for seconds. And on the flip side, Cassia doesn't have a lot of stacks. Just 15. I've never seen so few.
That is unfortunate for Cassia right now. Looking at anything else right now, Hanzo done with his level 1. Dahaka has 8 stacks on his enhanced agility, so he's moving a little bit faster than movement speed. For 5 seconds after tapping a bush, Caesar Salad gets hit with the Pulse Bomb. There's a Stormbolt onto Hazuabs that does put him on a 10-second cooldown for that Dragon Strike. Blessed Shield from Johanna, I don't think connect onto anyone. Big silence from the Malfurion, and that is going to be the Rhaegar to fall. Stormbolt from Caesar Salad as he rushes away, and Hanzo tries to find a scatter to get the kill. Yasu gets the tribute point. No curse, but it looks like Oxygen rotates for boss.
Yep, they can get it easily. That was a nice kill. Yasu, he's not just like too risky on Malf sometimes. It's a lot of hit and miss. He's been playing Malf a lot, and his Twilight Dream games really sometimes get kills that otherwise could not have been gotten. He likes to play that aggressive support. That was a wonderful Twilight Dream that prevented Rhaegar from using Ancestral. Oxygen gets another kill. It's not always looking 100% perfect, but they're getting the job done. HoTS is getting huge scatter damage. And Nick looks good on Tracer again. We look at the hero damage. HoTS 33k, Tracer 24. On the other side, Junkrat with 30, Blaze 20, and Cassia 21. The boss is pushing in. This doesn't look like it will get keep, will it, Bahamut?
For me, it just depends on how aggressive Oxygen goes. If they push with this, they could get the keep, and that's what I wanted to see. They will step in. They want keep on the side of Oxygen. They want the consistent catapult pressure. Curse is available as well. Bad Benny, I don't know where he's going, but it seems like he's done with the fight. He'll leave the rest of his team to take care of the keep.
We'll see you guys. He just goes straight to mid forward, starts deep wave clearing, minion wave, and wants to get that forward as well. Arrives first. Tribute is super important.
Yep.
Let's see what the boss timers are. Of course, 350 on top. The bottom boss, 40 seconds.
Okay.
This is the kind of curse that under the cover of the curse, you get the bottom boss. That gets you bottom keep. And then Diamond Hands gets level 20. That's how this one is going to go down.
Let's see. Actually, you know what? You want to jump into Oxygen comms and see how they play this?
I'd love to, because I'm really wondering how they're getting on.
In we go.
Bot wall now then, instead.
Take the traps now, so we have.
Get
I think
into
we
the
double
lobby.
us.
Yeah, 14. We look for one kill real quick or not?
We can go down now already.
Okay, I'm going boss. But they will fight. I mean, they have 20, right? They will fight us.
Yeah, but they have to run into us.
Blaze is top side. You can't make it. I will give you CDR.
Oh yeah, they're...
I need Q.
Oh, they're not killing it. Okay, I'm staying on the flank.
Yeah, I will kill you.
Where are they?
They're contest. We have big bang back on front one.
Yeah.
Play for point.
I stopped his jump. We got it.
Oh, go. Chase more time.
Not in range. Okay, I'm ulting him now. You lick it?
He has
Lick it,
he
lick
has
it.
Yeah, I got it.
No jump, no jump. Rhaegar is kind of sprinting. Just push with bot.
Get the traps when you face check there. Cassia, no E, Cassia.
I can't reach.
Yeah, bottom. Walk with this.
They don't have tank.
Trap. 40 on my ult.
As we leave the comms, I was like, man, I really haven't heard HoTS, and then all of a sudden I just hear, traps, Cassia, go! Just
This could be a game-ending push. There is no tank right now. Ancestral is available. Yasu kind of flubbed the Twilight Dream there. Did you see that?
I didn't, sorry, I was moving us around.
He Twilight Dreamed with no one around. Way back when. Maybe he meant to blink in on top of, I think it was Cassia, but that didn't work out. So they're not going core, going for a second keep here. 30 seconds on Twilight Dream. Diamond Hands very eager to keep this alive, but the resets on Pretzels is good. He's cooking up a lot of Pretzels more. Nintori looking to see, is he going to go in with the jet propulsion there on Nick and Bad Bunny? No, not at this time. Diamond Hands saves one of their keeps with Half-Life. They're up a tribute point. Down 3 forts now, 2 of which are keeps. Every lane is pushed. And Diamond Hands just, it feels like they haven't really been able to play the game. Game number 1 and game number 2, they were able to continually get kills off of hook isolation plays. And in game number 2, they continue to get kills off of mind control isolation plays with good synergy. But the Stormbolt engage route isn't quite the same. They play so good as a cohesive unit 5 together while playing defensively and having essentially their ranged assassin engage. But when it's up to Caesar Salad to engage, jump in and get a Stormbolt, try to get a pick off, whatnot, they don't have as clear of a route.
Okay. I see that. I can absolutely see that. A lot of the Stormbolts also from Caesar Salad, not that they've been bad, but Bad Benny also reads these Stormbolts almost every time perfectly and pops the Iron Skin and just, there's no stun value. Maybe we get some piercing value here and there, but seems like Caesar Salad targeting a lot onto Bad Benny as another tribute spawns. Neither team will get cursed from it. Haka clearing, I think, in top lane. He actually might have just been not showing it all on the map, just to be kind of like, well, where's the Dahaka? He might be sitting in a bush looking for a drag. So kind of that off-the-map threat, as we've talked about in other broadcasts in previous days. That's tense right now. I also want to point out really quickly, you had mentioned the cooldown from the level 20 on Hanzo. Dragon Awakens, I was actually, right when you mentioned that, I think Hazuab's got like a 20-second cooldown with one scatter. Like he was at like 55, and then I think he was like down to like 35, like in one scatter. And I'm like, yeah, that 20 talent tier really, really strong. But a boss being contested, jump in from Caesar Salad.
He wants to hit a big dragon pretzel, I think, on the escape, but he's not just using it for random poke. He does want to make sure it's going to be in a relevant place. Will it go on the boss point or the bruiser tunnel? Caesar Salad trying to be that engage for his team. There's a lot of traps around here. Thunderclap missed, Dwarf Toss missed. That's a Storm Bolt. They're going in on Johanna. Johanna's getting blown up, but he survives, and the Twilight Dream comes in. Dragon Pretzel is chunking Nintori.
Bunker down, but Hazuabs has the chase, 1Q, 1 auto, and that will be a triple kill to the side of Oxygen Esports, and that is actually a quad kill with the waves pushed in. The mounts have been hit, and everyone on the side of Oxygen rushes to core to take map number 3 in this series of the day. A great ending for Oxygen Esports as they are able to just find the perfect moment, making it look like Bad Benny was in a bad spot, but no, it was the members of Diamond Hands.
He survived with 15% life. It was close. If he had been minus 25 armor debuffed, it would have actually worked. Stitches was providing armor debuff in game 1. Sylvanas in 2. This time, there wasn't any, and he survived, and the turnaround happened. I want to point out how many times Rhaegar or someone on Diamond Hands' team died without an Ancestral hitting. Almost every time. There was only 9 kills. And more than half the time, maybe even 80% of the time of any kill or team fight, Ancestral never hit. It's because Yasuo is coming in with the Twilight Dream, who, by the way, has double the heals of Heavy here in this game.
Well,
this was Oxygen mostly from the start to the end, but especially towards the second half. They were just dominant.
I thought Diamond Hands would have that draft, but I'm sure Justing is going to be able to break down why that went so well for Oxygen, and he sees through the mist. He knows the answers to all these questions.
It really just feels like Oxygen is playing a little bit better as a team right now. We had some weird moments from Yasu, where we had mentioned that him on the Malfurion playing a little bit too aggressively, but he did make it work in the end there. There was a huge Twilight Dream at the end of the game here in the game-winning fight, and just the map being set up better by Oxygen to create that unwinnable fight situation at the end there. We could feel the desperation from Diamond Hands as they're trying to force anything in that situation, but Diamond Hands just not playing together as a team quite as well as Oxygen. Even with a squishy Malfurion here, we see Yasu being a little bit far forward here. It felt like a lot of the time in the team fights, he was just trying to create space for anything to happen often. Well, he was too far forward quite a bit. Malfurion, there's a big drop-off in the support priority after the first couple supports, and I think we're seeing here that there is a trade-off. If you're going to pick Malfurion, he's not really the highest priority support. He's being picked mostly exclusively to enable the Tracer. He's not on his own. He's very squishy, he's very vulnerable, it's easy to get onto him and catch him out of position. He's only really there to put the Qs on Tracer, so that Tracer can have fun and Tracer can get more value. This is one of the last times where Bad Benny's going to get caught out in this game. Caesar Salad, especially on the Muradin, maybe not getting quite as much value as he would hope. He doesn't have anyone with him who can really dive into the backline alongside him. So while he wants to play aggressively and he wants to dive onto squishy heroes like the Malfurion and like the Tracer and the Hanzo, no one on his team can really follow him up. So it was just really disjointed from Diamond Hands, where you have half the team kind of trying to play front to back and some of the team trying to play a little bit more dive heavy. And the constant damage coming out from Hazuabs on the Hanzo and Nick on the Tracer was just a little bit too much for Diamond Hands. Heavy also, Grubby talked about this at the end, was getting caught out a little bit too much here on the Rhaegar and not getting the Ancestral off when he needs it. This was the moment where the Siege is pushing in bottom and they need to defend boss, so they're kind of forced to fight here. You have the big Dragon Pretzel coming out too to finish things off. This was kind of a lose-lose situation for Diamond Hands, where they felt pressured to take this fight around the boss because they have to defend this boss. They think that they lose if they give this boss up, but there's also Siege Giants pushing in bottom, so that's why they had to feel so eager to force that fight, which is just an easy situation for Oxygen. All they need to do is be patient and wait for a good engage, whereas Diamond Hands kind of has to just take any kind of fight they can get in that situation. So Oxygen setting up the map a little bit better for themselves, and it just felt like Oxygen just played better as a team in this game.
I was sold that Diamond Hands had the better draft and they would come out on top of that, but I really undervalued Yasuo. It's weird. Like Grubby and I've been talking about this throughout the series so far today, and we can continue this conversation when we as we also talk about the next map as well. But like it feels like the Yasuo Twilight Dreams versus the Yasuo Tranquility. It's like two different playstyles for him, and he's more comfortable on one than the other. At least that's in the last couple maps we've seen so far. But let's actually find out where we're going to for map number 4. And I'm excited about this one because I'll be honest, boys, we have not seen much Dragonshire in the season. Like, I feel like we get maybe a Dragonshire match a weekend. Like, in 4 best of 5s, I feel like we get one Dragonshire game. But this is going to be Oxygen choosing to take us here, Grubby.
Yeah, and Oxygen, they play really well as a 5-man together with pick-off composition. So far, that's been their major win condition. And do you think there's any good pick-off comps that are possible on Dragonshire, Justin? Or do you think it's all about mobile rotational ganks and general basic ability synergy rather than this kind of stuff?
So there's a lot more ability to play for things that can kind of do some split pushing, which we've seen a bit from the Sergeant Hammer stuff. There's a lot more just playing spread out on the map with 2v2s and 3v3s. But I think that when we listen to Oxygen comms, one thing that I think is kind of holding them back as a team a bit, because their roster is essentially 5 superstar players. It should be. I'm surprised that Oxygen isn't just neck and neck with 30k right now in the standings, just based on the rosters. Like they have an insane roster, right? But they're not getting quite the value that you'd maybe expect. When we listen to their comms, I think part of the reason for that is that it feels like everyone's communicating and everyone's feeding information, but it doesn't really feel like there's anyone who's willing to kind of take that leadership position and be like in charge of the team. It feels like you have 5 people who are kind of feeding information, but no one wants to be the person responsible for really making the decision that could win or lose them the game. Where on a map like Dragonshire, everyone's kind of doing their own thing. I think that should play pretty well into what Oxygen is good at, because they are kind of all doing their own thing. They're not always exact. They don't all have to be together as 5, although they do line up their combos pretty well when they are together, and they do play things that lend well to pick comps, which is definitely the best way to play Dragonshire. If you don't have the ability to play for picks on this map, it becomes very, very difficult to do anything until it gets to being beyond level 20 and you're playing for a 5v5. So I think this map definitely caters towards Oxygen's strengths a little bit better.
Oh, it is a strong series, and it's also strong support from our community. I did see in the last little scene there, we did break $12,000 because of your generosity. So thank you all so very much for supporting HeroesCCL. We will get Springy on cam after, probably after the break, after we finish up our first best of 5 of the day. That way we can get everything settled. But of course, let's talk about Dragonshire, because we have had consistent bans onto this, Justin, and I want to get your thoughts because we've had some technical issues, but we've got you in the draft right now. Why is there so much priority onto Lunara? Is this just they're afraid of Hazuabs on Lunara, or is it more than that with the poison and the vision provided?
I think it's mostly a Hazuabs ban. We did see Lunara being prioritized this heavily at the start of the season, which was mostly because she does do the burst damage. She has the slow poke damage, but she also has something that's unique to her in having the Abolish Magic at 13, which is basically a cleanse for anyone. It's a short cooldown that cleanses anything, which being able to pick that early on a range damage dealer really opens up the way that you pick the rest of your heroes. You don't really need to rely on something like a Blaze with Bunker. You don't need to rely on any support with Cleanse either. It really just allows you to be a lot more flexible. So I think against Diamond Hand's style of probably wanting to layer CC as much as possible, the Lunara is just a little bit too much to deal with. And also Hazuabs has been very, very strong on the hero. So I think those are the main reasons.
Well, I will say this, Grubby. Taking the Sergeant Hammer games and then looking at the last game, I really like how Oxygen actually executed in the last game. In game number 1 and 2, Oxygen seemingly not struggled with the hammer, but they struggled to win team fights with the hammer. Whereas that last game seemed more to the point with Oxygen and their damage and how they wanted to execute Diamond Hands. So I wonder if Oxygen just forgoes the hammer for the rest of the series. I feel like that's the strong move, in my opinion.
Yeah, it might be, and I think the two of you have just kind of nailed it with the hammer and in general, because it has become obvious that Diamond Hands is looking to do those pick-off comps and are just removing cleanses. You mentioned the Blaze, Justin. Now we've got Karazim, who at level 16 has 3 cleanses on a Radiant Dash, and then at level 20 with Epiphany, he could have 5 cleanses. And then the pick by Diamond Hands to go for Johanna is as much about a Blessed Shield setup as it is about not giving an unstoppable tank to Oxygen. So it's so obvious what Diamond Hands is doing. They're looking to kill the tank, whoever it's going to be. And with Sylvanas, it becomes even more obvious. We've got that Blessed Shield into Light Bomb with the Mind Control. And Karazim is going to be the counter to that at level 16. Before that, a little bit harder, but he's going to be the counter to that. With Blaze, you can go in the bunker after you get cleansed. And those 2 picks already almost solve what Diamond Hands is probably looking to get. Doesn't mean it's the only way that Diamond Hands can get kills or valued. He can still go for macro play and whatnot. But this is a very strong start by Oxygen.
Could we, Justin, see a Uther here for Oxygen, double support, extra cleanses, so you're not waiting till 16 for a cleanse?
It's possible, but it's not super likely. Typically, the main reason is just in kind of the way that you draft double support. Uther and Karazim kind of fill a similar role where neither one of them is really a true sustainy support. Normally, you'd pair it with something like a Stukov or a Malfurion, something that has a lot more just overall sustain, whereas Uther and Monk are both kind of saving one target supports. They don't really, typically you don't combo them together because of that reason.
Thank you. Grubby, any thoughts on the last 2 picks we could get here from Diamond Hands? Because we'll have Justin break it down in just a second.
Yeah, it turns out that Oxygen is still going to go with Sergeant Hammer because they feel like they already have enough protective measures via the Karazim and the Blaze. It is weird sustain heals for Hammer, but the cleanse is the thing that they really want here.
Well,
Oh, wow.
Justin, break it down for us, because I like the Diamond Hands draft here again.
Yeah, the last Victorial, very, very strange for Oxygen. I'm very not expecting that, or I wasn't expecting that at all. I think their 4-man that they had before that, with Monk, Blaze, Murden, and Hammer, all of those heroes do a fairly good job of just getting value on their own in any situation. They can siege, they can clear waves to some extent. Murden with the Sledgehammer at level 4, if he went that, could do that as well. All of them are kind of self-reliant. Adding the Tyrael, he doesn't quite get the same amount of value unless he goes the damage build, so I'm expecting it to be likely the damage build. Diamond Hands composition, their first 3 picks are not very self-reliant. Sylvanas can get some value on her own. Yrel is kind of the most self-reliant of them all. Li Ming very much needs setup, isn't even very good at clearing waves on her own, unless she's standing on the side of the wave, and even then it's kind of unreliable. I think Oxygen's composition still overall just has a little bit more tools to be flexible on the map. Diamond Hand's composition really needs to be together as 5 or at least as 4 to get picks. And on Dragon Shower, you really don't get that opportunity until very, very late into the game. So if Oxygen is able to play a little bit more proactive, they should be able to kind of remove Diamond Hand's ability to even have a win condition in this game if Oxygen pulls ahead early like they should with their composition.
Wow. Alrighty, well, Justin, thank you for the analysis and the breakdown. Let's see what happens here, because on the left-hand side, we got Diamond Hands, we got Yaboy and the Sylvanas, bang on the Li Ming. We'll be seeing Joanna played by Caesar Salad, Heavy on the Anduin, and Entori on the Yrel. Looking over on the side of Oxygen Esports, we will be having Bad Benny on the Muradin, Nick on the Tyrael, Copen on the Blaze, Yasu on the Karazim, and Hazuabs on the Sergeant Hammer. Dragonshire is, obviously, it's not the same map as Tomb of the Spider Queen. We can all figure that out by the name and what the mini-map looks like. But this composition reminds me of Tomb of the Spider Queen, and I don't really know about this one here, Grubby. I feel like we go to a Game 5. What do you think about this? I think it's a Diamond Hands win.
Well, this time it's Nick on Tyrael. It's not Bad Benny. He's going to be playing that differently with a different perspective and play style. And also, it is a Ardent Restoration at level 1. So it's going to be damage build, yes, but with a lot of self-healing and regen whenever he gets attacked. And he's going to get attacked a lot by something like Sylvanas. So I think it's quite nice. I really feel like the way that Oxygen opened with Karazim and Blaze protects everything else. But Karazim is low in sustain heals, so Tyrael kind of is meant to fill that gap and add movement speed to Hammer, so that she doesn't get up too bad by the sustain damage of Li Ming. And in fact, Hover Siege is so powerful together with movement speed buffs. You go from 50 movement speed to 70, or if you take the other Smite talent at 7, you go from 50 to 90, which is a huge percentual increase on what she has. And it can be Sanct, it can be Judgment. I think it'll be Sanct. I kind of like it a lot. and I think Oxygen does have the better draft, and I think they have what they need to do the 3-1 here.
Alrighty, well, we'll see if it's a 3-1 or if it's a Game 5. You know me, I love as much Heroes of the Storm as we possibly can get, so we'll see about that Game 5. But of course, things have to unfold. Tyrael putting pressure onto Li Ming in the bottom lane, Karazim grabbing a camp on the bottom right of your mini-map, as Yrel jumps over the wall to grab the channel on the Sun Shrine. Moonshrine will be held by Oxygen for now, as Yrel comes in with a massive Righteous Hammer.
Whoa!
Yasu gets a kill onto Li Ming in mid, who was
Yasu?
pre-pressured by the Tyrael.
Yasu, more like Yahtzee, am I right? Because he just got a bingo on Li Ming. Sorry. Go next. I know it's a different game production.
that's why it's caught me so off guard. But okay. We got Yahtzee on the Karazim here, but Heavy will get the Moonshrine. Will he die for it though? The body block, the punches, the damage is good. Heavy's so very low. Yasu doesn't go over the wall for the kill.
I don't think he had another dash left. Whoa, this is a very, very fun game of Dragonshire so far. A lot of action, a lot of rotations from both sides here. Hammer kind of being a plonker against Diamond Hands. Sees that Mintori is coming up here. Blaze going for the heal. Double lasers. Channeling.
Yasu pops his healing. Is it just healing circle? Breath of Heaven. Breath of Heaven for the Karazim, just to get a little extra healing there after poking onto Bang in the top. As Hebi and Tori Bang in the top lane, we do have Sylvanas Tyrael in the bottom. Tyrael once again pressuring whoever is around him, keeping up the regeneration globe, stacking at 7 currently. I'm just skimming through some of the other questing towns. We have a possession for the Sylvanas. She's gonna be looking to steal away minions. She can use 3 charges of said 3 charges to steal away a catapult later on.
Double blue lasers continues to pressure. Yasu trying to take that away. Caesar salad continuing to take it. Sometimes they're in such funny positions. I have to do a check. Like, who's who again? Because they're weaving around each other.
I love the Sergeant Hammer being left in mid, because that does deny anyone trying to step in for the objective with her sustained damage on under her umbrella basically, and also Hover Siege just allows her to kind of maneuver around a little bit, maybe even avoid a Li Ming combo, but she'll have to boost away for that realistically.
I continue to find Li Ming a very weak pick into Sergeant Hammer. You cannot even hit missiles at max range if Hover Siege Hammer just moves. Just watch who's winning the trade. If you look at the mid lane, Hammer
absolutely.
Full life, Li Ming half life, and that's her trying with all her best to hit Sergeant Hammer. Meanwhile, Hammer killed the tower, like she's not a counter to Hammer.
Sergeant Hammer can literally just do exactly what you're seeing, and thank you for calling that out, because anytime Li Ming starts to step into the umbrella range, she'll take damage, and then Hammer can just kite back, still dealing splash damage, and that's out of range of magic missiles. Maybe an Arcane Orb will connect, but yeah, boy, is going down in bottom lane, or is he?
He is not. Or is he?
Went over the. I was waiting. I was like, is Nick gonna go for it? But no, he doesn't.
So it was pretty close there. Fancy Pants gets away. Oh, it's Seeker! It's Seeker coming in from Bang. All right. Trying to hit those extra magic missile hits. Oh, zing! Did you hear that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
I have
sound.
to say, there's some audio cues or like noises in Heroes of the Storm that are just they're great to hear, and that is one of them. I love that noise; is just so satisfying. But Li Ming face checks a bush, ladies and gentlemen. That right there is your PSA. Don't face check a bush. You can use abilities or just don't.
Yeah, that's allowed to happen once per game to someone. What do you think?
Yes, because I probably do it all the time myself.
I mean, in competitive.
Oh, in competitive, yeah. I think it happens once in a while. I don't think Murden was expected to be just sitting in that bush waiting, but it is also Bad Benny, so he's kind of one of those players that you have to be like, well, if I don't see Murden on the map, he's probably deep flanking me from New Zealand.
Yeah, Bad Benny is gonna be anywhere. As he shows up here, he sees 3 members. Just trading blows. Murden's always happy to trade some blows. Doesn't have Skullcard. Oh, it's Judgment!
Yeah,
Going
it's Judgment! Oh, this top lane fort is going to be taking quite a bit of damage from Hazuabs on the Sergeant Hammer. Venturi does get a Righteous Hammer, and we have the lasers, Moon and Sunshine, to the side of Oxygen, Will they be able to grab the Dragonite?
Let's see. Murden is getting in position for the Dragonite, but Sylvanas is there. Okay.
Bad Benny's fine. Able to Dwarf Toss away. Does have those block charges from level 1. I'm actually kind of loving that we're seeing the Judgment tier a little bit here. I do think it's a great way to constantly pressure Li Ming, or, as we saw in Tomb of the Spider Queen, Anduin on the, Heavy on the Anduin.
Yeah, and I think Nick is a little bit more suited to play this kind of playstyle. Bad Benny, I love him on a classical tank very much. It didn't feel as good on Tyrael, but Nick so far has been getting results. He also has that diver together with him in Yasuo, and they've kind of been controlling both middle and bottom lane. Yrel can't die. Yrel doesn't die, right? Yeah.
And still has Ardent Defender as well off a cooldown, so... Once again, Moon and Sunshines have swapped sides, and it's going to be over to the side of Diamond Hands, and there you go. You can hear Li Ming getting those Seeker missiles in as well. At least the first one. Yeah, boy, does activate those black arrows. Gets the fort down to 50%. The top lane fort does go down, but I think getting damage onto the bottom lane fort is a little more beneficial than the top lane. Structure, yeah, you do get passive experience gain, periodic catapult pressure, blah, 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 through top lane, but bottom lane has just a lot more accessibility for team fights as, dear lord, the chain CC, but the fight's not over just yet. Heavy getting pressured. Nick doesn't reactivate the Eldruin's Might, and that's the end of the fight right there. Yasuo gets the dash to an ally. Down a level, finding that kill, that's big for the side of Diamond Hands.
It was, and I feel like Bad Benny was kind of doing okay. He showed up mounted to 4 like a bear during salmon season, wondering which one he's going to be picking out. And he just stood there and he said, what are you going to do? You're going to all-in me? I've got Avatar, I've got allies. Those allies were a little bit too far back for that maneuver to be effective, and that was a wonderful blow-up by Diamond Hands. She still has Ardent Defender.
Yeah. I feel like Hazuob's is trying to redeem himself from the Tomb game a little bit. With
He's losing Hammer games confirmed,
yeah,
you think?
Yeah. He doesn't like losing the Hammer game, and he wants to look better than Granite Gaming yesterday. Because it is it's like 8-2 for our Hammers right now, or something like that with the record.
No, they won the first Hammer game, right? So it must be 9-2.
Oh, you're right, 9-2, you're right, sorry. Caster math. Anyways, it's a Li Ming combo over the wall. We do have the mid gate going down in, well, mid.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I work really hard on making sure that my chosen words are smart on broadcast. That's always what I'm trying to do, yeah. Oh, Nintori gets away. Nice. Oh, wait, no, he's not!
He's like, phew!
Yeah, exactly. He's, phew! And then the piano drops on his head from... It's just... That is going to be a nice kill on DRL, actually. It's really, really good for the side of Oxygen, but what can they do now?
And Dragon Chariot games are really fun. They're so... Oh my god! Fancy Pants nearly getting Bad Benny. He's gonna go into the Dragonite. Let's wear this suit of dragon armor. That's Diantric armor for you. He's gonna be able to attack with that and make sure it will fall on top of Diamond Hands, or the axe will fall. He's gonna be pushing with that. Looking at bottom lane, level 16, it's creeping up close for Oxygen as well. And Nick with that teleport in out talent is going to be able to do scouting, a little bit of poke damage as well.
Dragonite dealing somewhere in the near 558 damage into structures, 279 standard. 7-sided strike, Iron Skin pop by Caesar Salad. I don't know if Caesar Salad can really get out of this. Drops the Blessed Shield, but no. Just no.
Yeah, he has been found wanting. He's been judged. I mean, he had no more Iron Skin, so nice finish off there. Very isolated by himself. Oxygen moving in mysterious ways that are difficult to scrutinize for Diamond Hands, as they were doing a really good defense against the Dragonite, but did not expect the 4-man rotation mid suddenly. Zing!
Oh, it's another zing from Bang. And the 16 talent tier level lead to the side of Oxygen Esports. And the structures are pretty equal. I will say, though, as I mentioned, bottom lane still up for the side of Diamond Hands, which is a nice anchor point for the Moonshrine in the bottom lane. Top lane, losing that one is a little difficult for Yrel, but it is Yrel who's got, well, Dauntless, Ardent Defender, 16 different ways to self-cleanse, so... And she'll get like a 19th one at level 20 as well, but yeah, it's definitely... definitely... Still okay for the side of Diamond Hands, but they are getting bled out a little bit here.
Still, it is at the end of the time 5 forwards versus 5 forwards with just 1 level difference. And now I think Yrel gets that armor debuff, minus 20 armor. That and Mirror Ball full Liming combo, that's a kill anytime, anytime.
Templar's Verdict is a real big talent for the Yrel players, and we'll be seeing her charge that hammer, run around quite a bit. And Tori, he's going to be looking to set up a kill for his allies, or at least maybe bop some enemies around. As Copen checks the camp with the Oil Slick, we will be seeing our Moon and Sunshrine announced fairly soon. It's a very low cooldown from when the Dragon Knight dies to when we actually have the announcement. But there's the Ardent Vendor, popped really, really well, and there's the announcement of said shrine, as I had mentioned.
Bruiser Count pushing in top. That's going to force a rotation from Yrel. She's the major kill power now, I feel like, with that 7% damage and the 20 armor debuff.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the War Machine of Oxygen moves ever onwards with Hammer posturing, maybe do some mid damage. And it is just posturing because he doesn't like meleeing into Johanna, respecting the secret Liming flank potentially, along with the Blessed Shield. Just going to be double laser pressure. This will force Diamond Hands to go mid. And I think Oxygen can take Bruiser Camp off of that. But this has been well scouted by Bang.
Haunting Wave from Yaboy gets the Sylvanas onto the point here. We'll have the Moonshrine go over to Diamond Hands. Sunshrine on the top, as Grubby had mentioned, will be in favor for Oxygen Esports. Both teams have all heroic. Actually, Ardent Defender's the only heroic off cooldown, 59 seconds to go onto that one. Meanwhile, mid, and Tori is trying to defend, but Hazuabs, he's getting free siege on the hammer.
Nice little poke and burn damage from Tyrael as well coming
Nice
in. Oh
7.
my god, I did not expect that kill to happen right there under the fort.
Bad Benny hits a perfect max range Stormbolt. Yrel can't go anywhere, and then you have the 7-sided strike for all the damage necessary. Really well played from Oxygen, layering their damage and CC. As Bad Benny, there's the Sergeant Hammer, kind of giving away the positioning, but I don't think this fight... Oh, actually, is this a fight to break out?
This is tough for Diamond Eyes. They're trying to one-shot Murden, and they're getting some good damage reach on him, but there's the Radiant Dash Cleanse. Avatar procs also. Nice Stormbolt by Bad Bunny and Sylvanas. We have Nick coming in from the side. He still has Judgment. Is he going to cast it on anyone? Watch Nick in the backline. Seems to not have battle appetite. A call has been made to go for the Dragon Knight. Clean up bottom Bruiser. And maybe get a keep out of this before Yrel comes back.
Yeah, I don't see Li Ming being able to get the counter channel onto this because we do have Karazim delaying things out for a second or two. Yasu! He pops the 7-sided. Will he be able to dash to an ally? No. Nick goes into the backline with the Judgment to maybe try and create some space for this, for his Karazim, and he gets the Eldruin's Might away. So it will be the Karazim to fall, Dragonite over to the side of Oxygen, and what does the Dragonite do through our mid lane? I believe it's Blaze who's inside of our Dragonite right now. 58 seconds to go. Dragonite dealing 729 damage into structures, and it seems like we're going on an adventure, Grubby.
Did I ever tell you about the story of the Dragonite who just went top to clear waves? It is not a pretty story.
I got my popcorn. Tell me, please.
Yeah. Well, he went top.
Oh, this is a very short story. Okay, I was
very short story.
I had my blanket, like I started like leaning to the side. I was like, oh, it's nap time. Thank you, Grubby.
Can you believe it? I still haven't found a publisher for it. Like they just don't think there's enough content to it. He didn't actually even clear the top wave.
No, he didn't even throw like at least maybe like a flame breath into the top lane or something. But 20 talent tiers here, and I feel like Oxygen. They don't really like. They want to just drop the Dragonite and just look for a fight while they have the talent tier advantage. To be honest.
Remind me never to lend out our car to Copen, because that Dragonite got 11,000 damage and didn't even pick up the groceries he was meant to. Not a single tower killed mid. Like, yeah, I know they lost Karazim, which was unfortunate. Couldn't he at least have tried to get a tower? I don't know.
Judgment level 20 upgrade was hit, so Nick can... Oh, there, I was gonna say, he can... If he sees someone, he might just be going, and that might be the green light. As Bang drops to 50%, Jet Propulsion will be mitigated by the Templar's Verdict, or the Righteous Hammer from Yrel. We have Caesar Salad stepping in. Blessed Shield was used just a second ago. Chastise out from Heavy to zone back the enemy, as we do have the bunker down from the Blaze. The Terrans are trying to just set up camp on the left hand... Or on this Bruiser camp area, but the bunker expires. The Sergeant Hammer will unsiege. We'll go back to wave clear. 20s now approached by Diamond Hands. What do they get? And is this the turnaround talent tier for our blue team?
Repulsion is going to be the big one here. If he can get a repulsion on Sergeant Hammer, he can push her so far out of position. If you combine that with Blessed Shield, of course, Monk can try to get the cleansing dash. But it's going to really be down to him being in the right place and not being pushed the opposite.
Urel pops the Ardent Defender. There's a Light Bomb onto CCL, but he's unable to step into range. Got a good dash from Yasu to back away. We do have the 21-sided strike at level 20 for this Kharazim. Upgraded Napalm, rewind for the Muradin. I think the big thing to note for the side of Oxygen is that rewind on Muradin. Double Stormbolt and Thunderclap, as well as the slow from the Dwarf Toss and extra armor for Muradin with that rewind reset. Really, really big 20s. But on the opposing side, we do have that Blinded by the Light, which you get cooldown from Shield Glare, and we have the double Shield Glare. Blink for Sylvanas is actually a nice one as well. Allows her to kind of get away from some of these sticky situations with the Judge Material.
I'd love to see some judgments being used just to bait out Leap of Faith. It is on a much shorter cooldown than Leap of Faith. There are two, of course. Judgment's 30, Leap of Faith is 70, but if you use two, they don't start cooldowning at the same time. So essentially, if you were to double Leap of Faith, it would take 140 seconds to get both back eventually. So you can trade some judgments for Leap of Faith. This can be nice to confirm future kills.
Nick is pushing up top lane. It's not a lane we often see prioritized, but if no one's going to answer to him, he might as well find some split pressure, forcing someone to respond, creating an offset on the map, and actually that offset might be happening in mid lane as I'm watching Murd and Dwarf toss in onto the Joanna. Caesar Sal taking a lot of damage, pops the Iron Skin. Is there a reason? Oh, nice judgment, but no, it's not that nice because the Iron Skin was still active.
Yeah.
I thought it had expired, honestly. I thought he timed that perfectly. Like, we had that Lacerates perfectly timed yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. This was a bit too early. It just traveled so fast, he didn't expect it. Real grind game again coming out from Oxygen.
Yeah, we're 19 minutes in. There's a attempt onto Murd and Light Bomb. Bad Benny jumps into the backline. Got a decent amount of damage, but Bad Benny's getting chunked. He has to Dwarf launch away. 7-sided strike with the upgrade at level 20. Li Ming goes down. Sergeant Hammer still providing decent damage. Yeah, boy is going to be able to try and back away with the double Haunting Wave. Gets the second one, but here comes Murd and lands the Stormbolt onto Urel. Ardent Defender down for the next 100 seconds. And Heavy getting pressured by Nick. Has to jump away with the Eldruin's Might. Little cleansing dash from from Yasu onto Nick, but with Li Ming dead for the next 40 seconds. We already have Blaze going to mid. A third Dragonite, if I'm not mistaken, to the side of Oxygen, 3 in a row. And what does Oxygen do with this now? Of course, Grubby, for anyone wondering, 945 damage into structures.
24,000 health. That's about three Diablos. Pretty strong Dragonite coming bottom. Oxygen used a bunch of cleanses, but I think he still has more cleanse. He has 1 cleanse available right now. No Epiphany, so that's what he has to work with. Light Bomb just to get away, really, and to dissuade more attacks. Nick is low. He's going to have that Spirit Ally healing him up 2% every second. Who's the better Sieger, Hammer or Dragonite?
I mean, I think Hammer, to be honest. The Dragonite doesn't seem like it's stepping up much, and Hammer's actually finding value here. The Li Ming just now coming back. Repulsion onto Hazuabs. There will be a cleansing dash from the Kharazim as the Dragonite, 43 seconds, 52% left. Could just step right on this keep as we have 7-sided strike. It's 11-sided strike at level 20, right? Transgression adds 4 extra strikes, so yeah, it'd be 11-sided. And Heap should go down. I think Blaze is a little afraid of getting popped after the Dragonite expires, but still 25 seconds, 33%. Oxygen finds first keep in the game, and Oxygen, they're the ones who are holding quite well here, only losing their bottom lane fort earlier on.
Yeah, I think they're executing their draft really well. They understand how to engineer counterattack situations rather than relying on a Dwarf Toss or a Judgment in that will just get blocked. They're actually dangling low-hanging fruits or diamond hands that seem too good to ignore. Bad Benny seems to be stuck in a kind of like he's standing still. It seems like he's lagging or typing angrily to his teammates. You see this in Storm League sometimes. He'll just stand in a bush, he gets scouted, and he literally doesn't move. He's making himself a punching bag, knowing my king's here to check me. Yazu can dash on me, can cleanse me. And that's when they suddenly counterattack. They're doing this on purpose. It is not just Bad Benny getting bailed out. This is a plan. Diamond Hands is falling for it. I love it. I love it. That's exactly what Kharazim was meant to do here.
I like the Kerosene play we're seeing. I'm actually really going to quickly check the stat. Tyrael has 60 globes.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
He has 61% bonus health from that. He actually just picked up a 61st. 6,210 HP for the Tyrael. It's kind of crazy for me just to see that. Regen per second is 12.86 for him. As we take stock of the lanes, we do have the Bruiser Camp top, Siege Giants bottom. Diamond Hands looking for an angle to do something here.
So just to kind of put that in perspective, Tyrael would be healing at max stacks when he deals 10 times. When he deals damage 10 times, he would heal 100 health per second. And because of the 60 globes, it's 160 health per second. So that's about 50% less healing the Dragon Laser Drill would be doing damage now if it was level 10 Dragon Laser Drill. Essentially, he's healing for 0.7 of Dragon Laser Drill baseline per second. Yeah, 70% of a Dragon Laser Drill in healing. That's really not bad.
I like earlier how you had you'd compared the health of something to a Diablo. I like that's our basis. Like our basis for healths are how many units of Diablo.
The core, for instance, is 3.7 Diablos.
Yeah, so I love that. I like that unit of measurement. I need to use that in real life. Like, how many cups of flour do I need? Oh, I need like an 1/8 size of Diablo.
Yeah, and how much does a cup of flour cost in Diablo Immortals? Well, 0.000001.
The bottom lane. Whoa, actually, hold on. Top lane actually got pushed up. Yrel does have to hearth back as the keep is down over there. Tyrael's got the channel on the Sun Shrine. Blaze moving his way towards the Moon Shrine in the bottom. And Bad Benny, he's kind of anchoring here. I'm checking vision. Bad Benny does see Caesar Salad and a few others on this mid kind of... Oh my god, Bad Benny goes in deep!
He just wants to get engaged on. You see, it's the same bait, but this time it's a bit too obvious. He's like, alright, who wants some? And Diamond Hands is like, not me, smiley face. Avatar was pressed so early that it didn't really feel like a bait either. They have wizened to the strategy of Oxygen. That's a big engage on Hammer, but Cleanse is there. Sylvanas takes so much damage, he blunk away already. Will of the Forsaken now leap. It's triple survivability, max range Stormbolt. And there was another leap. I think that was the final leap, so in 15 seconds, Judgment comes out. Full heal, 11-sided.
Yeah. Just, I think Yrel was like, ooh, yeah, I can stand in this and get full back to HP. Cleanse once again, but there's going to be a Dwarf Toss in, and that's on to Yeah Boy, who gets the Hunting Wave away. There's 300
Judgment
HP
in
on
one.
the Sylvanas. And Tyrael, he goes in, he focuses the Li Ming, the follow-up Stormbolt from Bad Benny, but a blink out from Bang. Nick still chasing in, does get the kill onto Sylvanas. Bang is the next target. Shield glares to mitigate the auto-attack damage coming in. And Chastise will connect onto Yasuo. We have Bad Benny jumping into the backline. I think he pops Rewind. Kerosene will fall. We have still a pretty scuffed fight back and forth here in this bottom lane.
Yeah, that was Nick, like he's taking no damage at all.
Nick,
Is he thinking about going core?
I mean, it's got 88%. I guess you might as well. Judgment onto Anduin. Hazuabs is kind of unsure of what to do right now, but what I do like is that we do have Copen, who is like, okay, this is a losing fight. I'm grabbing Dragonite, and I'm going to go get a keep or maybe go core with it.
Nick is gonna 1v4 for a little bit more. He's still full life.
Yeah.
The self-heal is actually insane, and Li Ming cannot hit those big Seekers on melee. So Nick cannot take any damage.
Yeah, no, this is, and Dragonite should end here. The Dragonite right now dealing 1,260 damage into structures. Oxygen, they
won. They won. It's over. GG.
GG. Oxygen,
Well
they close it out. I really gotta say, Oxygen, they really blew me away with this draft and the way they played it. I massively undervalued their draft. I really thought Diamond Hands, yes, they had, as Justin was saying, they all had to be grouped up quite a bit to get value, but I thought Li Ming Sylvanas was going to pop off. I thought we were going to really see some major value from the side of Diamond Hands, but in the end, it is going to be another great game for Hazuab on Sergeant Hammer, but Yasuo on that Kerosene, bit of an MVP here for me, Grubby.
Yeah, Yasuo was the MVP draft pick, and I think he played it really well. Yeah. When you look at just the sheer indomitableness of any one of them, I mean, I really liked how Bad Benny played it too, but look at Nick. Like, this is the best Tyrael we have seen. Of course, it's very much a cohesive thing. Tyrael, part of 3 frontliners, does so much better than as the solo tank. The same burden wasn't being put on him as is being put on the main tanks in this league. But this is numerically and in execution the best Tyrael we have seen. 70,000 hero damage is the second highest in the game. And if you ever watch Nick's stream, you know he always sorts by hero damage. Not looking at talents, not looking at blue versus red. No, he sorts by hero damage. And you just know when he sees himself in that second slot, he has a little chuckle and a little nod towards himself. I'm doing all right. Highest XP contribution as well, highest self-healing, third highest in siege damage. He was invincible. 68 globes on his healing stack as well. Just absolutely incredible. Oxygen, 7 kills to 4. It's not the most killing of games, but rotationally this was a complex and very interesting game, and Oxygen really started scaling more and more towards the late game, weren't they, Bahamut?
Absolutely. I'm actually still looking at that stat you had mentioned, 54,000 on the self-healing. Karazim did 56.5-ish team healing. So it's like Nick's Tyrael was like kind of like self-sustaining in its own way, but really good play from Oxygen overall. Diamond Hands still a very strong team, and I do think they had some shining moments here, but it is overall just a wonderful series won by the members of Oxygen Esports, as they do take this in a 3-1. As we take a look back at some of these moments in the games, it's just like there was just so much pressure into top lane as we saw, and then here is Caesar Salad getting caught out. This is one of those really bad moments here, Grubby.
Yeah, it's Yazoo looking great again on an aggressive support. Only lost the game where he was forced to pick Mouth with Tranquility. Just really doesn't suit him. He is a Lucio at heart, and he is a reverse amp Lucio at heart. What's more, beautiful max range dwarf classes with Stormbolt follow-ups from Bad Benny were just part of the formula that saw a successful potion being brewed. Potion of Victory by Oxygen. Again, wonderful interplay here between Yazoo, Nick, and Bad Benny on the front line, with Copen doing more protection at the back line against Hazu. Hazu is being left behind, a very familiar sight of Sergeant Hammer in any game. Bad Benny and Nick are heavily pressuring Bang there on the Li Ming, and they dove a little bit too hard. Yazoo had run out of Radiant Dashes. There's the Templar's verdict coming in from Nintori. That was a nice kill by him. It kind of seemed to maybe save the game. But look at Copen, he mounts up with 20% life, goes for the Dragonite. He's like, this is getting too crazy. I mean, my teammates are thinking of going core. You saw Nick throwing the sword on the core. Bad Benny here going down against Blessed Hammers, essentially. People are always like, is Blessed Hammer good enough?
Oh yeah.
The double hammer rotated into a 450 health Muradin and took him down there. Very entertaining fights. Very strong front line here coming in from Oxygen. A completely different drafting style than we have seen from pretty much every other team in CCL, which makes them very entertaining to watch.
It was a very entertaining series, and we're about to get into an interview. Just before we do that, I do want to note for anyone wondering, Justin is unfortunately having a couple technical issues, so we are trying to get that sorted in the background. Hopefully we can bring him back after the break. But of course, as I mentioned, let's get this interview rolling here, because we have one of the players from Oxygen Esports to sit down with us and talk about this series, and it is going to be Bad Benny. Congratulations on your victory. How you feeling?
Hello. We feel good that we won, but we wanted to win 3-0, right? Because then it would make our chances to get top 3 much higher. So I mean, Diamond Hands played very well, and it was a very intense series, so I'm just happy that we won it in the end. But obviously I'm a bit bummed because we really had it in our hands, and now we're kind of relying on other teams still.
Yeah, it's now you're going to be the one sitting in the stands waiting to see what all the other matchups look like today and next weekend. But of course, Bad Benny, you know, you won the series, but I do want to kind of jump back to Tomb of the Spider Queen, not to reopen the wound, but what went wrong on Tomb of the Spider Queen? Because was it the playstyle? Was it the judgments? Was it draft? Was it execution? Because it was a very long map. You held for so long, but where did it kind of go wrong for you as a team? Where do you feel like it went wrong?
Yeah, I mean, it started, the early game was a bit awkward. It didn't really go as planned. I think I died around level 8, which was very bad. And then they got like ahead, they got the first pain from that, I think. We needed to kill all forts, and we never managed to kill the mid fort, because that would have opened up like so much more opportunity to flank, which is what we needed to do with our draft, kind of. It was also very scary with the like traps and the mind controls flying around, and we had like Like I didn't think I'd get one shot off cooldown, but I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, like
Okay.
we still played like very well, I think, surviving for that long and I mean almost clutching it, but it was a very hard game, and I mean well-deserved victory for Diamond Hands in that one as well.
Yeah, I think that was the longest game in HeroesCCL history. Like in 4 seasons, I think that is our longest game ever. But of course, Grubby, any questions for Bad Benny here?
Yeah, Bad Benny, at which point did you guys become aware that Diamond Hands was not just strong at it, but it was their main battle weapon to do this isolation pick-off comp, and how did you deal with it?
I mean, we just saw what drafts like they ended up with. The first game we knew like, okay, if we don't ban Stitches at the third ban, they're probably gonna go Stitches, and we're like, okay, but it's still better than them going something else, and I think it worked fine. The second game, like looking at the drafts, I feel like we should have won that fairly easy, but I guess like the Malf and us, like the Tyrael Malf, didn't really work out as well as possible, and yeah, they did the isolation one shot, and they kept doing it the other games as well, but that's kind of what you end up with when you play Johanna. Like since you play around this 60-second cooldown, you want to get a kill with it, right? So like you try to find a guy that's split, and with our drafts we actually like split up quite a bit, but usually we don't get caught doing it, but if we do, they play well, they get the pick off.
Yeah, they had that Sylvana's armor debuff talent that maybe kind of changed the maths a bit.
It did make it way harder to survive.
Game 4, you had a pretty cool game with a triple frontline, and you open up with Karazin Blaze to try and protect against the one shot. Did you feel confident once you had those two that you could follow up with anything and be more safe against their preferred style?
We honestly weren't sure what they were aiming for this game. We didn't see the Ming coming at all. We didn't plan to pick the hammer, but they were like, wait, we can go hammer here. And then we just picked hammer. But the opening, I mean, Blaze is one of the best, if not the best, off lane on this map and any other map, and Monk is especially strong on this map. You saw Yasuo running around and fisting people, like top lane, bot lane, 7-siding people. Like he was everywhere and doing so much. So. And it also on 16, it helps against the one shot, right? Like, but
yeah, that's true. Your final match is going to be against Simplicity.
Yeah.
In theory, you're going to want to have a 3-0. They just changed their roster. You're going to be able to see them play now. If you're 3-0, you mentioned you still have to rely on others.
Yeah, we need Chili Mountain to... Since we lost one game to Diamond Hands today, we need them to do the same next weekend, basically. And if we 3-0 next weekend and they drop one game, then we qualify over them, if I got the math correctly. That's what we're thinking, at least. Maybe we misunderstood some rules, but...
Let's see, did you beat Chili Mountain? Yeah, you did. I think you're right, because you have them,
we have the same
in
map
direct
score. We have the same map score then. But...
I think you're right.
But we also made a lot of mistakes during the season. So honestly, like if we have to play step ladder and prove ourselves there, we will do it. But we would be very relieved if we managed to qualify directly.
I know you're going to be watching those matches real closely today and next weekend. But of course, Bad Benny, any shots that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Shout out to my team. Even though we didn't get the result we wanted, we still kept strong, took like one game at a time, which unfortunately didn't give us the 3-0, but we still did good. So it took a lot of mental fortitude to keep going, even though we knew we couldn't get the result we wanted, right? Like as soon as that game was lost, it was harder mentally to like stay as focused, because you know, like you already did a mistake. So good job, everyone. Of course, that includes our coach, Cavalier Guest, and Casco on the drafter. He's doing a lot in the draft and prep. And of course, everyone else included from Oxygen side. It's sad that we didn't get the cam interview now, because I just received my Oxygen merch, so I was sitting here ready to show it off. But it's actually really good. I really like the green color of it. You'll have to take my word for it. It feels very nice, actually. It's
so you know what I would do? I would take a nice good picture of yourself, post it on Twitter, and we'll see if we can get the CCL to retweet it as well, so that way everyone can see this amazing new merch from Oxygen.
Yeah, maybe I'll do.
Right?
Maybe I'll do.
There you go, yeah. But no, Bad Benny, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck in your scrims, your preparation, and I wish you all the best in week number 7 of HeroesCCL next weekend.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you for joining us. Alrighty, well, with that interview, that is going to be our first best of 5 of the day. Usually, at this point, I can kind of bug Justin and Grubby to kind of be like, "Oh, what are your thoughts on the first series?" But I've got Grubby with me, so let's talk a little bit about this first series of the day. I think Bad Benny talked about something that like really stood out in the interview just now was, you know, the mentals going into map number 3, Cursed Hollow. We talked about it, like losing a 35+ minute map and then going into Cursed Hollow when you want this 3-0. That is, you got to really raise the energy levels up. And I'm glad to see that they addressed that. They were blunt about it, and they said we need to make sure that we are going into this positive next map. So I like the way that they're approaching this. And he did say one really critical thing too. We're playing it one map at a time. It's not a best of 5. It's one map at a time. That was a big takeaway for me for the series. What about you, Grubby?
Yeah, I found it most interesting that they had spent such effort into figuring out the required map score. This sometimes can pressure you. You can also play an entire match and tournament just always trying to win 3-0. But I think the smart approach, the enlightened approach, is to be aware and also to have your mindset be strong enough to try and actually deliver the work that's needed. It's good to know. Sometimes information makes you weak, but ideally, if you're perfect, then a bit more information is better. And they knew they needed the 3-0 for max control. They do have the easiest match left in Simplicity. But Simplicity has a new roster, so that may just work against them. They will need the 3-0 next. They're very aware of what was needed. They need certain results from Chili Mountain. They need certain results from Diamond Hands. Diamond Hands and Chili Mountain are playing each other. So either way, it's going to get real complex to see who can get that guaranteed top 3 as we draw ever closer to the LAN finals.
Next weekend is going to be very critical for these teams, but right now, it's very important for me to remind you that it's up to you to get the best picks for the winning team live as you're watching on cclmarkets.com. It's free. You can pick you can pick wrong, because if you pick wrong, you can sell your shares and buy the other team before the match is over. CCL markets trade from 0 to 100 with shares of the winning team valuing at 100 and shares of the losing team expiring at 0. There's tons of prizes this season, so join and play during every HeroesCCL broadcast. Thank you again, Ball Street, for partnering with HeroesCCL Season 4. But of course, we are getting ready for our next best of 5 of the day. We are going to be seeing Storm Esports going up against Simplicity. Both of these rosters actually have had changes, which we will be talking and diving into more after the break. Of course, during the break, as always, we love to bring on, I guess you could say, since it is Father's Day, the father of HeroesCCL in a sense, at least when it comes to interviews. We've got Kyle Ferguson, who sat down with CPX from Storm Esports. I've already seen this interview. I'm telling you this right now, ladies and gentlemen, you do not want to miss this interview in our mid-show break. And as I said, when we come back, Storm Esports versus Simplicity. Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom.